Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. There was a lot of winning going on this weekend. The Utah Hockey Club wins its first preseason game. RSL, they snatched a draw from the jaws of victory. So not so much winning going on there. 3-3, they end up splitting the points. In a game they led 2-0 and 3-2. Oops. Didn't have 11 dogs out there running around. That was their problem. You know who had 11 dogs running around? The University of Utah. They had 11 dogs on defense for 55 minutes. After Keithy scored to make it 22-3, he walked into the end zone, and the defense played like the game was over. And, well, in the words of Pablo, when we don't have 11 dogs, it's very average. And Utah was very average for the last 5 minutes, but they were brilliant for 55 minutes, and Utah wins the game. Although, as Kyle Whittingham said afterwards, there was no reason for it to be that close at the end. Yeah, he's right. And then BYU, it wasn't that close. Man, they made big plays. Big punt return, 3 big turnovers, one of them a scoop and score. And Kansas State had a chance early in the game to put that thing away and didn't do it. Kicked field goals, a lot of yards, but so what? And you let a team hang around, you make a mistake, and it snowballs, and there you go. All right, let's get it going now with, and then there's Utah State. Utah State led at halftime at Temple and then got blown out. Interim coach Nate Dreiling heading into a bye week now with a 1-3 record. On the other side of the bye, Boise State and UNLV, 1-5, staring right at him. Here's Nate Dreiling after Utah State loses at Temple.
Coach, a lot to break down here, but missed opportunities in the first quarter to really extend that lead out. The penalty on what probably could have been a touchdown on the fake punt. I know you've been harping on it time and time again, but it's just these little teeny mistakes that end up leading to a big loss here on the road.
Yeah, first I wanted to apologize for all of Aggie Nation. What we did today was embarrassing, and that should never take place. So I will take full blame on not having these guys ready enough to compete and win at a high caliber. And right now we're just not doing that. So that's 100% on me. And the best part about it, and what I told these players, is our mission and goal before the season started was to win a Mountain West championship, and we haven't lost a Mountain West game yet. We do not have the start we want, and we realize that, but we have a bunch of tough people in that locker room, so we're going to roll our sleeves up and continue to work. And then, yeah, it's the same thing. We talked about our goal this week was discipline, right, and do things with a high detail consistently. And, you know, we can keep talking about it, but until we want to turn the corner, that's all it's going to be is talk.
In the first quarter, their opening possession the first 3 possessions started inside the 5-yard line, and yet couldn't turn that field position into points. When you break it down and look at those kind of things, you could have been up maybe 10, 14 points in the first quarter. You do end up going up 14-0, but I'm just curious your thoughts on, in terms of that 64-yard field goal to go in the last play of the first half. How much momentum do you think that gave to Temple? What was your thought as you went into the locker room?
Yeah, a 64-yard field goal, unbelievable kick by that player. I don't know what the record is for NCAA, but that's got to be close. I thought Jalen Royals, who we had back to return it, was going to have a chance to score. So that fired them up. It fired them up more than it affected us. But just like you said, let's talk about defense for a second. I mean, they had 22 yards at the end of the first quarter, and they end with 400 and something. It's the same thing we talked about last week. No one cares if you get out to a good start. You have to continue to do it and continue to put your foot on the gas. We let up, and we're just not good enough to let up versus anybody. And now we leave points out the boards. We don't tackle good enough, and then this thing keeps escalating. And now we're in a ball game, and we lose ball games late. So we have to continue to talk about our mindset, our mentality of finish, right, and do what you need to do to get a win, and right now we're just not doing that.
Is there anything you can put your finger on? Is it just execution there in the second half when essentially 7 out of their last 9 possessions outside of the one where they ran out the clock, they score points on? Is there anything that you can point to, or is it just simple execution?
No, it's 100% my fault. I need to do a better job of being the defensive coordinator and making sure that these guys have what they need to be successful. We did lose some one-on-one plays, and hats off to Temple for competing and winning those, but I need to do a better job of not just getting this defense ready, but this team ready, and the penalties are outlandish right now. It's killing us, but that's 100% on me.
thought that once they did get better field position in the second quarter, a lot of misdirection, a lot of, they opened the playbook a little bit more, and it seemed like there were a lot of open spaces out there. Is that just eye discipline? What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think, Temple had a good scheme to try to get the ball in perimeter and let our little people, our corners and DBs, make tackles instead of our inside guys. And but the same thing, it's just locking in and just continue to do your job. I haven't obviously watched any of the plays yet, but I just assume when it goes from so good to so bad, the snowball effect happens, and you quit having trust in your teammates and you try to do someone else's job, and that's why there's these gaps and holes get open. So it's just got to be able to go back to what am I doing, how does it fit my scheme, and am I doing it to the best of my God-given ability.
Is this a feeling where you would love to be playing next week to flush this one, or is it maybe good for this team to let this thing marinate for a little bit and really focus on details for the next couple of weeks?
No, I think pain is awesome. I hope it stings for a week and a half until we really hone into our Boise game. So we need to remember this feeling of disappointment and letdown, and our job is to put a product on the field that makes the Aggie family proud. And right now we're just not doing that to a high enough consistency. So we need to learn from our mistakes, but don't shy away from the pain, because that's what makes you better men at the end and tougher people. So we do get 2 weeks to prepare for Boise, and we'll use every single day of that. But right now we need to make sure that we focus on ourselves more than anything, right? Make sure that we're getting better.
I know you're right after a disappointing loss, but as you think about coaching the small details and the disciplines and so forth, can you put your finger exactly on how to do that and what to do that can change that?
Well, it starts with the coaching staff and works its way down. We need to make sure that we're harping on every little thing. And that starts in stretch lines. Are we behind the line when we stretch? Where are we going? I mean, the amount of pre-snap penalties we're having right now is quite frankly, it's embarrassing. Best part about it, they're easy fixes, but you still have to fix them, right? So, and it goes back to just people always having knowing how they fit, where my detail is and my assignment and my alignment. And if we can just do that and stay out of our way, we can play good football, but not if we keep playing in front of ourselves.
Nate Dreiling joining us, head coach of Utah State. Aggies suffer a tough one tonight, 45-29. So kind of give us the snapshot. Obviously, in that locker room, I know you got some angry dudes and you got some upset dudes, but the heads are still high. I mean, let Utah State fans know exactly what the vibe was in that locker room, because, in a moment like this, a season can go one of two ways for sure.
Scotty G, you're always on point. That's exactly what I told him. I said, guys, we can either go and quit playing for each other and quit listening to the coaching staff and start doing our own thing, or we can do what we did this summer when times were tough and get closer together and be resilient and come out swinging. So time will tell what group we have. I know I love the look in their eyes, and I know I love the guys in that locker room. I know what they're going to do, but until we constantly do it, it's just always going to be these feelings. And once again, I apologize to all the Aggie fans out there. You guys deserve so much better, but we're going to work our rear ends off to make sure we get there for you.
Curious, Coach, with your quarterback making the return, what's your immediate evaluation of how Spencer Petras played here tonight?
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought his balls were out. He was throwing the ball on time, getting to who he needs to. He had that interception late, just a little high. But other than that, I thought he facilitated the ball like we needed to. Teams are going to start having to load the box up more and more with Rosrell getting so many yards, and he's the guy to put it on the money. So offense had a good plan. We just left points out there, and you can't do that if you're right now as a below average team on how we're executing. Right, we need to execute at a much higher standard, and we had no reason we shouldn't score 50 a game. We're close, but then defensively we just have such a long way to go. But got to continue to work to get there.
There's Utah State interim coach Nate Dreiling. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the victorious Utes, 4-0, up to number 10 in the polls. We'll hear from Kyle Whittingham and the Ute players next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Well, the University of Utah went to Oklahoma State, and I think for most of the game, that went way better than any Ute fan expected. I mean, even a good defense gives up 7, 10, 14 points. Not this Ute defense. For 55 minutes, they gave up 3 points. They were brilliant. There were so many 3-and-outs. It was unbelievable. And meanwhile, Mekhi Bernard was running the ball. I thought he was going to get 200 yards. He didn't, but he got close. It was an awesome performance. And Isaac Wilson, I thought he played really well at quarterback. I thought he played really well at quarterback. Dorian Singer made him look good, made some tough catches, made some really tough catches. Here are Singer, Bernard, Wilson, and Smith Snowden after the Utes win at Oklahoma State.
Kai, take me through that long run.
I heard the play call. I'm like, oh, can it be another one? And I seen a guy just come through the line of scrimmage just like last week, gave him a little stiffy, and I'm like, all right, tackle. No, missed tackle. I was just thinking, man, we need to get from backed up. Coach is putting the ball in my hands. Let me see what I can do with it, and just keep moving your feet, and special things happen.
Dorian, you were able to kind of make some big chunk plays for Utah, keep the offense moving. How did it feel just to be out there kind of moving the offense and doing what you did?
It felt really great being out there with the guys, driving up and down the field and just moving the ball really well.
Was it the wildest catch you've ever had?
Nah.
No? Okay, so what's the wildest?
I got a lot. I got a couple in my head I can think of.
Okay.
Smith, what do you feel like the defense did today that limited OSU's offense up until the end there?
Yeah, it's all about our culture, RSMB, relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. Scally does a great job to get us prepared and kind of have a good feeling of what they want to do and what they want to run. So I feel like it's definitely coach, just having us prepared.
Yeah, and then Makai and Isaac and even Dorian, they score on 2 drives there, and it's up to you guys to close the game. What was your mentality heading into that final drive, and what was going on in the huddle for you guys to ultimately close it out with that run there?
I had full trust in our offensive line and Makai. I'm sure everyone knew we were going to run the ball because all we needed was 10 yards. And those guys on that field were like, this is the best 10 yards of our life, and Makai plowed it right through that hole and got the first down. Yeah, shout out to the O Block, for real. They was creating some nice holes. They were staying man on man, and I was just able to read through a lot of it. And on that last drive, I think we got 3 yards first, and then we got another 6 or 2 yards or something like that. And I'm like, okay, we need 3 more. And shout out to the O Block. They made a lane, and I was just like, I just need 3, and went through the gap.
Makai, could you feel the offensive line generating more push? It felt like you guys were just getting closer and closer to breaking them off. Could you feel that as the game progressed?
Yeah, I did. Like I said, they were getting a lot of push. They had their times where a couple guys got through, but other than those couple times, the whole game we were getting pushed, and we were getting nice little 5, 6, 10-yard runs, and ultimately that's what led up to the big run.
Smith, was there anything said as a defense after they scored their first touchdown and looked like they were going to come back, or kind of how that talk us through that kind of?
Our mindset is just cool, calm, and collective always. No matter the circumstance, we're always gonna be even. It was an even kill, even still, whatever it is, and just always just trust that the players on the field are gonna make big time plays.
I think there was good and bad today, but when it mattered, 4th downs, you made the plays you had to make. Where do you draw that confidence to make those runs on 4th and 2 and dive through them?
Teams trusting me, so I got to go make a play. They're giving us 0 coverage pretty much the whole game. No one was manned up on me. So when I broke that pocket, I knew I was going to be there. And seeing that one guy in that first down, I got to go get it. Yeah. So I went right through him.
Okay, it's back-to-back weeks where you've just had 2 gashing runs that have really opened up the offense there in the 3rd quarter. What do you think has allowed, whether it's off-season work or things that you're preparing, that's allowed you to make those types of big plays? And how does it feel now that you're making them?
It feels pretty good. Honestly, just I've been trying to work for a long time to get, this is the most carries I ever had. I've been working for the last 5-6 years to try to get to this level to where coaches, trusted me and believe in me to have 25 carries too. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm finally glad that, I got everybody's trust in order to give me the ball, and, I'm just trying to go out there and make plays, and those plays will come, and it's not on, everybody wants them to be on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, run, but, if you keep getting the rock, I get more comfortable as the game goes on. Big ones will bust like that, so, yeah.
It's just one game. It was just one game, but how important was this win over Oklahoma State in your guys' mind?
I felt like we could have put a lot more on them, honestly. Some mishaps on my part, but I feel like the offense executed pretty well. And I'm looking at this right now, and I see that we had 42 minutes and they had 17. That's how you control a game.
Yep.
Defense did their part, keeping them off the field. Damn, 17 minutes? That's how you keep someone off the field.
And, I just want to, I didn't play the greatest first half, another fumble, but recovered one of them. And then I missed a blitz pickup, a crucial blitz pickup that led to an interception in the first half. So I want to, apologize to the team for that, and apologize to the fans for, keeping you, on your toes. But that second half, we're a great second half team. Now we just got to fix it in the first half.
There are the U players. Now here's head coach Kyle Whittingham.
I made that a lot more dramatic than we needed to, but we hung on, got the win. Proud of our guys. Didn't always play as smart as we needed to. Had a chance to really put the game away completely. Let them back in it. Credit them for continuing to fight and battle. Very proud of freshman quarterback. He's, to go, when you put things in perspective, you come into a number 14 team in the country's home stadium with a true freshman Q, and come away with a win. That's pretty impressive. And so proud of our guys, proud of him, proud of Mekhi Bernard. Gave us another huge day, nearly 200 yards. We were the more physical football team without question. Rushed for 2.5. Gave up about 50 yards or less rushing, so that tells the tale of the line of scrimmage right there. Made some nice plays up the field on the balls at times, and then we let some things, the quarterback stuck some things in there that we just didn't play as well. But overall, great start to the Big 12 conference schedule. And it's just every week now, a couple byes mixed in, but we've got to get ready for a tough game next week. Apparently we came out of the game pretty healthy. We'll find out a lot more tomorrow. We got some bumps and bruises, but I think we came out with nothing significant, I hope. Cam, I know the timeline. When he's ready, he'll be ready. That's all I can say. We were hoping he'd be ready this week. It was literally a game time decision. It wasn't game day. It was game time. We came in the locker room after all the warm-ups, had a little conference, and decided that gave us the best chance to win was Isaac. Cam agreed, and that's the direction we went. So that's that. Proud of the defense. Defense played lights out up until midpoint of that fourth quarter. Then we got a little soft. But anyway, good win, really good win, and just got to keep going, 1 week at a time. Questions?
How'd you handle the reps at quarterback this week?
We split them. The days were different. It wasn't the same every single day. So Cam took the majority a couple of the days. Isaac took the majority of the other 2 days. So that's how we handled it. As we got closer to the game and Cam wasn't progressing as much as we had thought he would, then we shifted the balance of the reps.
Coach, you're now 29-4 when you run for at least 200 yards since 2019. What does that say about your team and how you go about your business?
Well, it says we should try to run for 200 yards every week, that's for sure, obviously. But it's our MO. Our MO is to be a physical run team, play action pass off that run game. And you saw the touchdown to Brad Keith. That was maybe the biggest play of the game, certainly one of the biggest plays of the game. Down where we were trying to milk the clock, and they were stacking the box with every defender, and Brad, it was a great catch, great concentration. But yeah, if you can run the football, we controlled the football for 47 minutes or 42 minutes and change, and they were 17 and change. That's a huge discrepancy, huge. We make 22 or 3 first downs, they make 11. And so, again, there's some really statistical imbalances that say we should have won that game by a lot more, but that's how it is. You never discount a win, particularly against a ranked opponent on the road. And so, like I said, I couldn't be more proud of our football team right now.
Kyle, what were the factors that ultimately went into the decision not to play Cam this week? Because it seemed like every indication was that he was going to start even. What
was those indications? I missed those.
There was just pregame reports that.
From who? Not from me. We got a mole in the building. I don't know, but no, it was give and take the whole week. There was no point during the week where we thought, he's going to go. It was literally all the way up until we were 20 minutes from kickoff when we went in after warm-ups.
Is it an issue with gripping the football?
Well, we don't ever talk about injuries as far as what they are or the extent or anything like that, but we just felt that Isaac gave us the best chance to win today.
Were you guys able to slow down Ollie Gordon today?
Well, we've never faced him, so it was our first time facing him, and the tape last year was very impressive. hasn't really got on track yet this year. I'm sure he will, but he hasn't yet. And so we were pleased that he waited one more week to get on track because he's a terrific back, over 2,000 yards of offense last year. But this year he just hasn't found his groove just yet. But he will. He's too good a player not to.
Kyle, was there anything different in those last 2 touchdowns from Oklahoma State where the defense changed, or was it just they found opportunities?
They made some plays, and we didn't play as well as we needed to. Yeah. So.
How big is a spark plug Mekhi Bernard been for this offense the past 2 weeks, given you haven't had Cam and you have a young quarterback there?
Huge for us. He's been instrumental to our success this whole season. We got to be careful. He's not, as I said many times, he's not a 25 carry a game back. I don't know what he carried today. You guys should know. Should be right at the tip of your tongue.
25.
Okay, that's max. You know, that's probably more. That's probably about 5 carries more than we would have chose to. But you know, he's so good. He's a terrific running back. But it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we got to try to make sure we give him the reps accordingly.
What did you like about Isaac's performance, and where does he need to improve?
I liked that he just kept hanging in there, never got down on himself, threw a couple picks, didn't flinch. You saw his ability to run. He ripped off that 40 or 50-yard run. That was huge at that point in time. Dipped his shoulder and made another tough run down in the red zone that got us the first down. He's just a competitor. He's a competitor, just like Cam is. They're both just complete competitive guys that want to win. And very confident guys, both of them.
Is there any competition there during the week?
Is there competition this week?
Is the quarterback position open?
Do we have a quarterback controversy? Is that what you're trying to stir up?
That,
you want to stir that up? I'll take the 5th on that because of you. I don't know. PK, I don't know. I don't think so. Cam Rising's won 2 championships for us. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and when he's ready to go, that most likely is the direction we will go. Can't see that being any different. I guess you never say never, but can't see that changing.
There's Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham. We're going to take a break. When we come back, BYU, all sorts of pumped up after beating Kansas State. The Cougars are ranked and 4-0. They're next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Well, BYU did it. They blow out Kansas State at home, 38-9. 3 turnovers and a punt return, sandwiching both sides at halftime. That's where they won the game. Harrison Taggart had a big pick. Here he is after the game.
You know, we run pass key. I read pass. I dropped over my guy who was running the bender. Saw Avery Johnson get flushed in the pocket, and that arm comes off the ball. Oh, just excited, you know. Made the catch finally, and right back down the sideline.
This is a team that scores 30 and 40 regularly to keep them out of the end zone. What does that say about this defense?
It's a little bit speechless, you know what I mean? Just the brotherhood we have on defense this year is insane, and the team chemistry we have this year, I love it.
What's that sequence like? They're up 6-0, and then in a 7-minute stretch, all of a sudden you're up 24-6. What's it like being part of that type of, just blitz like you guys had?
It's crazy. When we punch that ball out and Tommy Prassis picks it up in the end zone, you can't even hear. I was running down with Jack Kelly to the end zone, and we're 6 inches apart, and we can't even hear each other talk. Momentum's huge part of the game, and that rock kept the momentum in the game going. It was awesome.
What was the message from Jay Hill in preparation for Kansas State, their offense? What was the kind of the thesis of what he wanted you guys to execute defensively?
Doing our job, and when the play is presented, make the play and hit it hard.
You guys talk about complimentary football. I asked Isaiah this, but to have each unit, the special teams, the defense, and the offense all score touchdowns in a game, how cool is that for this team when that happens? It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, isn't that fun? It's so fun when all 3 phases of the game score. Parker Kingston, that was electric. Kind of had me on the edge of my seat, like, oh, and then you're finally cheering, but man, it's a lot of fun.
What does this say to the rest of the Big 12 about this BYU team? A lot of questions about the 3-0 start, considering the competition, but to beat number 13 like you just did, what does that say about this team to the rest of the conference?
You know what I mean? We're BYU football. I don't pay attention to a lot of the rankings. I don't pay attention to what a lot of media is saying about BYU. I'm just trying to get the team to play our game, but we're rolling.
You grade Tyler Patty's interception for us a little bit because it looks like he didn't even try to return it. He was just like,
what the heck? I mean, a pick's a pick, especially when your hand's in the dirt. Like, holy crap! But that's awesome.
Harrison, what was it like going up against Avery Johnson, his explosiveness, and obviously his reputation coming in, and how do you feel like you guys played against him?
You know, going into the game, we knew Avery Johnson was a dual threat quarterback. We knew what he could do with his legs. We knew what he could do with his arm. But just playing our assignment football, I mean, we played Kansas last year. After that game, the quarterback was a true dual threat quarterback. He didn't play another game last year. We played SMU. We shut him down, you know what I mean, and get in the end zone. So just playing our assignment was huge for this game.
What do you think the key was to getting pressure on him too, and getting actually to him 2 sacks?
You know, that old line was they were a good unit, but just having grit and just going was huge, and crushing the pocket. That's a huge part of the game too.
Go ahead. How do you? Sorry. Go ahead.
Was there a distinct difference in like the amount of like holding that occurs in this Kansas State game versus other games?
My coach always says, you know what I mean, you can't bank on the holding. Don't let him hold you, you know what I mean? So I tried not to pay attention to it. There were a few times where I was like, oh, like he's holding on to me all right, but it's football. They're going to hold. They're going to keep it tight. So it's football at the end of the day.
I just wanted to ask about celebration. What's it like on the field and then go to the locker room after a win like this?
It's so fun. It's so fun. The locker room is ecstatic. Kalani makes sure we do a good job celebrating our wins. Even when Jay Hill wants to celebrate, we let him have a little bit of a celebration, but then we have to pull him out, just keep him healthy.
Kansas State was able to run the ball really well the first couple of drives. What were you guys able to do defensively to tighten that up?
You know, I thought we came out a little slow. Honestly, I thought we came out a little slow. And just getting our momentum, getting the crowd in the game, that was huge for us, just get our flow going.
That being said, to not give up touchdowns there when they were finding a little bit of momentum on offensively, I guess, early. I mean, to hold them to field goals at that point, do you guys take that as a little bit of a badge? Like, yeah, you're going to run on us, but when it gets really important, you get to the red zone, we're going to stop you.
I mean, I've never thought about that, but yeah, that is awesome that we've only let them 3 field goals. That's electric. You know, no touchdowns. It's awesome. I want to do a better job stopping the run game down the field so they have to punt, and we're not giving up a field goal. But 3 field goals, that's saying something huge about our defense.
Harrison Taggart wasn't the only one with an interception. Here's Tyler Batty talking about the first interception he ever had in college. He never had one in high school either, but he came up with a big pick in this one.
We got dudes that love ball, and you can't really ask for more than that. And more importantly than that, they love the guy next to him. And I mean, I think that was on full display tonight, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. Guys were. There's nothing left in the tank. Guys were giving it all.
Go back to that interception, though. Take us through your assignment, what you saw, how it all unfolded in your eyes.
Yeah, so we're bringing a little bit of pressure. I'm dropping just to a shallow third on the field, kind of dropping off that running back, and so that's who really I was just watching, just eyes on him. So dropping back, watching him, I see him step up like he's protecting. Then I kind of see him step out, and then I see the offensive lineman start moving forward, and I was like, it's a screen, and the pressure got there. Quarterback just didn't throw a very accurate pass, and they ended up right in my lap. So, you know, that was about that.
What was the defensive game plan coming into tonight to stop K-State, and what adjustments needed to be made in game?
Yeah, the biggest thing, right, is just shutting down their run game, especially their QB run game. You know, their quarterback is an excellent athlete. I mean, our game plan, you know, was to really just try to control him. And even with the massive emphasis we put in on that, he still had I don't know how many yards with his legs. And so that's that really was our game plan. Come and shut down the run and try to control him.
Tyler, Kalani said this was statement 4. Statement 5's coming next week.
Yeah.
In your eyes, what did he mean by that? What was the statement made tonight?
We just want to let people know who we are. That's what it comes down to is, hey, this is who BYU is. this is how BYU football plays. This is how we roll, and we are just really really grateful and really excited for opportunities to showcase that.
Tyler, how do you describe being part of a blitz like happened at the end of the first half and beginning of the second half when you just put up 24 points in like a very short period of time?
Yeah, that was a whirlwind. That was absolutely a whirlwind. That was a ton of fun. That middle eight was a ton of fun. That is just, guys, just building off each other's momentum. Guys not getting down on themselves, you know what I mean, when we were down 6-0, and guys just saying, hey, we're gonna fight, we're gonna slug this thing out, you know, we're not giving up, we're not giving in, we're gonna wait for those opportunities, and when those opportunities happen, we're gonna capitalize. And that is exactly what that middle eight was. It was just opportunities, and guys were grabbing them and running with them. And so, again, I think our guys played their butts off tonight and just rallied around each other.
Including high school, is that your first career INT?
That is the first career interception. So I'm stoked about that. I've been waiting a long time for that. So I've been dropping in coverage my entire career here at BYU, man. So to finally get one felt really good.
You were a tight end in high school, were you not?
I did. All poly tight end MVP. Decided to play defensive end. That's where my heart was. So.
What was your view of Tommy's fumble recovery there? Because it felt like that kind of jump-started just the chaos of the next couple of months.
I was right there scraping over to the ball and just see it pop out, right, and start rolling. And there's like 3 or 4 of us right there. And I'm running behind Tommy as fast as I can, and I'm yelling at him, pick it up. Because typically a ball comes out, you dive on it, right? But we had enough space and I had enough vision behind him. I don't even think he heard me because the stadium was going crazy. But I was just pick up the ball, and so he scooped it, and again we got the right blocks and got down the sideline, and so super excited for Tommy again. Just he stepped up when his number was called, man.
You made some big plays as a freshman. What does that do for the confidence of a freshman in a big game like this?
Yeah, absolutely, huge, and I mean. We know that Tommy's going to be an instrumental part of this defense for years to come, right? So him making plays like that, no surprise to us, right? It's just that's what he does. So we're just stoked that he was able to show people that tonight.
After that play, Harry said it was so loud he couldn't even hear his teammate 6 inches away from him on the sideline. I mean, how did this atmosphere compare to any other you've been in?
It honestly was probably the loudest Lavelle's ever been. Like there were moments. I mean, you want to think back to 21 ASU. I think that was probably the previous loudest time in Lavelle. Tonight was absolutely deafening. We're trying to make checks, we're trying to make calls, and we're on the field, and you're standing this close to someone, just screaming your head off, and you can't hear a word they're saying. So it was absolutely awesome. Again, I don't think there's another place like Lavelle in the country.
How are you guys going to celebrate this win and then get ready for what point to start for Baylor prep?
Yeah, absolutely. We have plenty more games to play. Baylor coming down the tunnel for next week. So, celebrate it tonight. Enjoy it tonight. Tomorrow it's back to, get your body right, get ready for practice on Monday because, we got a game versus Baylor. So.
Sione Moa had 15 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. No one really knew about Sione Moa until this game, it seems.
Yeah.
How long ago did you know about Sione Moa that he could be the guy like this?
Again, we've seen it. You've seen it. We've seen glimpses of it in practice, right? And it's just like, oh, he's got really good balance, or like, oh, he runs really aggressively. And I think tonight, again, I don't think he surprised himself. He probably surprised some of us. I was surprised. We had seen glimpses, but you never know. And for him to get out there and run the rock like that, especially that touchdown, it was just like. Yeah, little Marshawn Jr. out there running around, dude. So it was awesome to see.
Last question. Reaction to Parker Kingston's touchdown run, and is that the play of the year so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Covered like 150 yards. It was just absolutely insane. And we're in punt safe. We're in punt safe. The defense was on the field, and So, I mean, to return that for a touchdown and punt safe, I don't think you can ask for a better play.
All right, there's Tyler Batty. Now here's the head coach, Kalani Sitake.
Great game. Proud of our guys. Not error-free, but the energy and the effort is there. And if we can play like that, with that type of effort, I think good things can happen for us. Still some really good moments for us to learn from, but I think right now I'm just going to focus on the positives of our guys and the way they played, the way they took the field, and just keep believing in each other and nobody pointing fingers. So it's a fun game. I mean, there's still some work to do, but like I told them, we're going to have fun and enjoy it and be excited about the win, but we got to get ready for our next statement, which is Statement 5 next week, and stay humble and keep working. The work's not done yet, so we didn't come this far just to do this one game, so we got to keep working, and I think the guys understand where we're going. So that being said, I just wish the best luck to Kansas State. I mean, I think we had a lot of things go our way, and I was talking to Chris after the game. I mean, that's a game of football, and I'm glad the crowd was able to help us and create some momentum for us. And just thank you to all the fans and making all the noise, man. It was a lot of fun. So you can tell that it's motivating for our players, and they all showed up, and it was nice. It was a sellout, so can't complain, man. But looking forward to the next step and getting better. And I feel like we played better every week, and I'm anticipating us improving, getting better next week too. So, any questions you guys may have?
What kind of statement did you guys send tonight, you felt, in the Big 12?
I don't know. I have to watch the film, all this and everything, but I think we show that we can play. I mean, I think the question was, what kind of team is this? And I think there's a lot of unknowns, but it's okay. I think maybe people know a little bit more now, but I'm not going to surprise anybody anymore. So we got to be ready for this next game and keep working and being humble. So that's going to be our key.
Kalani, the Kansas State had those first two long drives. One was like 12 plays, the other one was like 14 plays or something like that, where they were able to run quite a bit, got down the red zone. Both times you guys were able to hold them to field goals. How much did that kind of buoy up the defense to be able to hold them to field goals on those first two drives, so that when you did get the turnovers and went ahead on the touchdowns, the momentum was there?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the issues were just getting out of third downs, and we were in some third and shorts, and so in order to do that, you have to win first and second down. But you have to give a lot of credit to Kansas State. That's what they do. They wear you out, and they can find a big play here and there. I don't know how many big plays we gave up, but in the pass game, I don't know how many we gave up. But in the run game, there's probably way too many runs past 10 yards that I was, wasn't comfortable with. So, and a lot of that had to do with them being really good at what they do, but also we didn't help ourselves in some of the missed tackles that we made, and being in the wrong position a couple times. We were not in our gaps. We weren't sound in the run game at all. And when you do that against a great team that can run the ball like what Avery can do and what they can do with the running back and the physical line, it gets tough, But the guys kept playing. I mean, it's a long game. You got to make them earn it all, and eventually we were able to crack the code a little bit and get some turnovers and create some momentum, and then you saw the result. So it was too big for Kansas State to get back in it.
What did you see on the Parker Kingston punt return?
I saw a mistake, and I saw a mistake made right, and so I'd like to see. I mean, we can block for him without the drama. So I don't know if he misjudged it or whatever. I know we can laugh at it now, but it's like he's really good at fielding the ball. He's an outfielder. He's a baseball player, so he can track the ball really nicely. I think it was just an error, and I think it touched him on the initial drop, right? And he was able just to rally it back and get the ball, and we're in safe punt return, so the defense just blocked for him, and he he's really fast, so he got off on the edge and worked down the line of scrimmage and got the score. So another fantastic play tonight, and K-Pop's done a great job with the special teams and having them believe that they can make big plays and have an impact in the game.
Kalani, what's it like watching the team go through that stretch where you go from 6 down to like 24 up? It's so quickly.
Yeah, that's kind of what we plan on happening. This defense with Jay Hill and the defensive staff, they can create some chaos, and I'm glad that it showed up tonight against a ranked team and heavily favored against us. Even though we're at home, so that's just we can just keep pushing along and grind it out, and good things will happen for us. And we have a great leadership on the team, so I've been really happy with the way it worked out. But that's what that's what they're supposed to do: create momentum and help us win the game.
What did Sione Moa show you that you wanted you to give him the start in his first career start, and your thoughts on his performance?
But you guys saw it. I mean, we've been telling you that we have good running backs, and I think I wanted to show it off to you guys. So that's Harvey's done a good job with that entire room, and they're all capable. You saw Pokai play, and I mean, we know what Miles can do, and we also know that Enoch Nawahine can do some stuff. So it's a deep and talented group, and yeah, it's just we want the other guys back, but we've been saying that we're going to be fine with the running back position.
Kalani, two power opponents so far. You haven't allowed a touchdown to either one of them. What does that say about the level of the defense that's at through 4 games that you've held both power opponents you face to field goals?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good job, and just proud of the defense and what they've been able to do, and the belief that they have in the system, and the belief that they have in each other. And when all 11 guys are doing their job, good things happen. The breakdown in the plays that they made were. They're good players, but I think there's a lot of it was our mishaps and us being in bad positions sometimes. But I think when you have a quarterback as talented as what Avery can do, that causes a lot of issues. So we've got to improve and get better. And I say that when they played their butts off and made some big plays, but yeah, we can play better. So I'd like to see us play better as a team, all 3 phases.
Forced fumble, a sack. Why has Jack Kelly become one of the best linebackers in the nation?
Yeah, Jack's been in this defense for a while, and he knows it, and it's good to have him here making plays. But he's got this quiet leadership. The guys respond really nicely to him, and I love what he and Glasgow and Harry and the rest of the guys can do. And we've got a deep group at linebacker too. I mean that's. We played a lot of different bodies, in different places, and we needed to do it because we had a lot of defensive plays. I don't remember, it was 72 plays. Yeah, that's a lot of it, and we can help ourselves by getting off the field. But I mean, I think we did a pretty good job against them on 4th down. We got a lot of 4th down stops, and we were able to get some turnovers, and that's what this defense is made to do.
Kalani, were the guys that needed help off the field, was that cramping, or is there anything more serious?
It was like 2 guys, and yeah, they got to eat more bananas or what, I don't know. I just figured it out, but they worked hard, and yeah, that I think maybe and the temperature kind of dropped a little bit too. So I'm going to ask the sports scientists on all that stuff and make sure that doesn't show up next week.
What are your initial impressions of Jake's performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Jake. I see it was numbers 15, 21. That's pretty good, and he took care of the football. And so that's key. I don't think we had a lot of opportunities for the offense because the defense and special teams made a lot of plays and created momentum and had a lot of short fields. So yeah, I thought he handled the offense and actually made some really good checks for us and got everyone set up in a really good position. So Jake's doing a great job managing the offense but there's still room for improvement from everybody.
You talk about all 3 phases. This was an all 3 phases game. All 3 phases scored a touchdown, and you needed each of them to come through at some point. How gratifying is it when that happens, when they're rallying around each other and making those plays for each other like that?
It was really good, and the Aaron Roderick and Jay Hill and Kelly Papinga have done a great job working together, and we do that in practice, and we talk about each phase, and K-Pop gave a great presentation on complementary football, and so our guys understand that it's a 60-minute game, and I don't think it started off great for us, but the guys we know that this is a long game, and we feel like we get stronger as the game goes on, and so I like the response from our players, and even in terms of like us finishing, getting a first down and kneeling the ball, those small victories for our guys is really important. The defense getting a stop. Those guys gave up a touchdown in the Wyoming game late, and now they're able to get a stop. And I mean, this is we're seeing improvement here, but I just want to get the guys on fast track on all 3 phases. So I like the way they're all playing, but they have some great coaches, man, and I'm really fortunate to have those guys coaching them.
How long
long are you going to let these guys celebrate this win before moving on to Baylor?
Yeah, tonight. Then they got to go to church tomorrow, and then we get ready for Baylor. I mean, I don't know, how did their game go, by the way?
They lost in overtime.
In overtime, okay. So yeah, I mean, every week's a different chore, and so we got to get over this one, but there's some great learning moments for us, and that's what I'm looking forward to. This is a team that takes to heart some of the stuff that we teach them some things, and they can learn it from experience, and I think they're going to be really good by the time we get to Monday and learn the lessons that we can from this game.
Here's BYU football coach Kalani Sitake. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next. DJ and PK, proudly presented by our title sponsor, Black Desert Resort, Utah's premier golf resort. And a reminder, don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. This week on Win Tickets Wednesday, you can win a pair of tickets to see ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, September 26th. Listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. What is trending? Next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
And an empty set. Trips to the right. Here's the snap. Pocket holds. Andy throwing downfield. Thielen! Did he hang on? Touchdown!
So much for going for the field goal, right?
Hey, I was wrong.
Blood in the water.
What happens if you convert a big third down?
Marr spreads three receivers to the right. Isaiah Likely to the left. Justice Hill in the backfield. Lamar in the shotgun. He takes the snap. Drifting to the right. Flops to the end zone. Touchdown, Ravens! Rashad Bateman wide open.
Cardi from 37 to win it. The rookie with the right foot. Kick on the way, and it's a Cardi party at SoFi Stadium. 27-24.
Fourth down and a yard to go. Long count. They give it off. Bashawn Robinson hit in the backfield. He goes down. Kansas City holds on downs again. Nick Bolton scrapes to the outside and makes the hit.
The Kansas City Chiefs getting a fourth down stop to beat the Falcons 22-17. PK felt like the second guessing of that play calling stopped right about the time the second guessing started right about the time the guy hit the ground. What are you doing running into the teeth of that defense?
Rats. Should have thrown deep.
I like that. 4th and 1. Go for it all. I'll light them up. The Chiefs are 3-0. They keep winning close games. They beat the Ravens by an inch. The toe was in bounds, or they're headed to overtime, or a 2-point conversion for the whole game. They beat the Bengals by 1 point, and now the late 4th down stop to beat the Falcons. Not pulling anybody out, but they just keep winning. Steelers are 3-0. Who saw that coming? They beat the Chargers. Herbert left the game. He tried to play through an ankle sprain, but then he got hurt and couldn't go anymore. So the Steelers win again.
I was rooting for Lack. LA Chargers.
Lack. The Lack.
I'm a fan of Harbaugh. You blowing off these stupid rules.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
The NFC, 2 3-0 teams, both led by former Jet quarterbacks who failed in New York and have found new life elsewhere. Sam Darnold 3-0 in Minnesota. Geno Smith and the Seahawks are 3-0. Seahawks have played 3 teams that can't throw the ball and or don't have a quarterback, but whatever, they're 3-0.
So they're playing running backs at quarterback, or what are they doing, receivers? Like that one time
quarterbacks
Denver had to do
who
that?
aren't very, yeah, that's right. Quarterbacks who aren't very good. In the case of Miami, they were down to their 3rd-string quarterback late in the game, so Tua didn't go, and they knocked Skylar Thompson out.
So Hundley played?
Hundley did not play. I think it was Boyd who played, but Hundley might be starting next week in the Monday Night Football game.
Sam Boyd?
No, forget his first name. I think it's Tyler.
Got that stadium name now?
Sam Boyd. We call that kid the Silver Bowl. Purdy, how good is he with all those weapons around him? Well, he's good, but, man, the other guys have to hold on to the ball. Juwan Jennings did 3 touchdown catches, but missed a field goal that could have given a 10-point lead with 4 minutes to go. Dropped a pass that could have put him in field goal range at 24 all late in the game. The opportunities escaped them, and the LAR the LA Rams come from behind and win in overtime. Lack is better than Lar?
Yeah.
Lar doesn't roll off the tongue the way Lack does?
No.
Lack and Lar.
I love that you work Sundays.
The Ravens beat the Cowboys. They're both 1-2, but at least the Ravens finally have a W. 28-25 the final. Held on to get that W. Anything you'd like to share from the National Football League? Somebody who impressed you or didn't impress you?
You got it covered.
All right, there it is. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah State.
Utah State gets beat at Temple. They were up early, still up at the half, 21-17. A little concerned they hadn't pulled away a little more there and let Temple back in the game. And then in the second half, it all went wrong, PK.
Rats.
I know, right? 45-29 the final. The Aggies fall to 1-3 going into a bye week. We will talk with their head coach, interim head coach, Nate Dreiling, is going to join us in the next segment in about 20 minutes. More on the Aggies, but that one got away.
I thought that Scotty and these guys tell us they had more talent than when they won the conference in Blake Anderson's first year. But the schedule was more difficult, which, okay, but Temple?
Temple doesn't sound like it's more difficult, does it?
No.
Sound like an opportunity lost.
It doesn't sound, well, the game was lost. I don't know about the opportunity, but it doesn't seem like they got more talent to me. I mean, I didn't see the game. I was traveling, so it looks like, man, can't beat Temple. Who you going to beat?
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
Wilson is out wide. This is Brant Keithy playing Wildcat. Here we go. Head down and in. Touchdown on the ground. Brant Keithy. Now Wilson off play action. Wants a deep shot down the middle. Brant Keithy will stroll in to the dismay of Cowboys everywhere.
Don't forget Cowgirls.
Utah gets the win at Oklahoma State 22-19. 4-0, ranked number 10 in the country now, moving up 2 spots. The Utes, you were there, PK. The defense, in the words of Pablo Mastroeni, 11 dogs for 55 minutes, and they were awesome. Kind of average when they didn't have the dog mentality the last 5 minutes when I guess they felt like the game was over. As Kyle said afterwards, we didn't have to make it so close. But they do win again. Was it as impressive in person as it was on TV for those 55 minutes?
I thought so. Yeah, I think they dominated. And just to get a first down for Oklahoma State was a chore. It wasn't happening. And Wilson, away he goes, man. I'm a big body language guy and how you comport yourself. And
he comports himself like a starting quarterback,
really does,
not
man.
like a freshman.
There's not a lot of jumping up and down. He's not going crazy. He handles the position like this is what you're supposed to do, and just doing the post-game interviews, just matter of fact, a couple of laughs, but that happens when you win. If you can't do that, then what's the point? And then afterward, I walked out that end zone there, which would have been the east end zone. It has a building right there that the players went into. Well, that's actually connected to the basketball arena. It's all under the same.
It's all one.
Yeah, it's a real huge complex, and they've got like a Hall of Fame of Oklahoma State stuff. So I had to go to the bathroom at the end, and I'm looking for a bathroom, looking all over the place. I walked through the basketball arena, and I asked some lady, and she told me, yeah, go through, blah, blah, blah. So when I come out the other side, and the buses are right there for the team. And he's posing, signing, taking pictures. Just like, I belong. This is what I do. This is no big deal here. I mean, and you look at it, he's played 12 quarters of football, and Rising has played 4 quarters in the last 17 games.
Yes.
You telling me you don't have a quarterback controversy? You can say you don't. The boss will say they don't today, but I think you do.
We've got a lot of people commenting on that, and they are split enough that what you just said, there's a lot of people thinking exactly what you were thinking.
I don't think it's
about.
a controversy. I think it's real. Play the kid, man. He's there for you. The other guy, you hate to say it, but it's kind of old news. Just, man, this is gotten a lot of money to rarely get out on the field.
Mekhi Bernard, 182 yards rushing. Running hard, looking awesome. Easier to play quarterback when you have that kind of running game. Everybody always talks about that. Mekhi Bernard, star of the game right there.
Offensively, sure, yeah. With the Kyle said they were getting too many carries. He wants to reduce that because he's a little slight of build. Mekhi Bernard, I had a conversation with him 2 years ago, and he wanted out. And he stuck it out. He got his degree like 3 years ago. And just work, keep working. And this is a success story, and I'm really happy for the young man because he stuck it out. He did put his name in the portal, if I remember, but he came back, and now he's getting his chance, and he's playing as well as any running back in the conference.
25 carries, 182 yards. A lot of power running in there, but he broke off the 62-yarder as well, showed the speed.
Yeah.
It was a complete performance. You already know he's a good receiver out of the backfield. They didn't really use him in that role in this game, but that's...
And he apologized for missing a blitz pickup. Yeah. The guy knows football, and he's a weapon, man. He is a big-time weapon for them, and it's great to see somebody just persevere and then have all that work pay off.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
Handoff, and the ball comes out. The ball's out. BYU scoops. BYU scores. Tommy Prasis. 30-yard return. The ball was just lying there, and there came Prasis, and he didn't bobble it. He didn't kick it. He didn't kick it out of bounds. He grabbed it, and he was off and running. Second down, Retzloff in the pocket, throws, end zone, caught, touchdown, Chase Robert. I can't remember an end of half like this. Well, now the punt, and that one might have been touched, maybe, scooped up by the return man, Parker Kingston, and now he's going to turn the corner. There he goes. Kingston to the 50, still going. Kingston, touchdown.
BYU blowing the game open with a couple of big plays just before halftime and a couple more big plays just after halftime. 3 turnovers, the 175-yard punt return, and a 38-9 win over Kansas State that vaults them into the top 25.
Yeah.
Does it get much better than that?
Oh, it don't, man.
That is
it. Don't. As I said, and you mocked me. You mocked me. Yes, you did. You mocked me.
I did not believe that they would be ranked at 4-0. But here's another thing I didn't believe. That they were going to win that game by, does math on the air, 29 points.
That was beautiful.
Blew them out.
I told you weeks ago that the 21st night of September would be something that they would remember.
I got social media. Now, you can recite it as a poet, but I have social media from people yesterday. Tomorrow's the day. Don't let him sing. You've done it so many years. You got people anticipating it now.
I mean, Badia. I told you that would be a night to remember if they pulled it off, and they pulled it off.
In spectacular fashion.
Good for the good guys.
Did you love the replays on the punt return? Did the ball break the goal line or not? Did Kalen Clay it? Oh, no.
Except BYU guy picked it up anyway.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was.
But just in case.
It would have been a touchdown either way. No one else touched it. So it was sort of irrelevant. It could have been I guess the official scorebook would have been that he wouldn't have been credited with the touchdown. I think they should tell the guys, just run through the end zone.
Yeah.
Kalani told after the media, he said he was going to have him run to the official and hand the ball off.
Even better. Yeah. I always thought they should run through the end zone because your adrenaline is just flying through the roof. You're at home. You're running into the student section in that case. Do you think to look down? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, and so you could see where that might happen. But yeah, hand it to him or run through the end zone, either way, whatever it might be. Because everybody should know about that by now. It's happened a few times. We call it Kalen Clay because
that's
local,
the local example, but there have been others.
Yeah.
An odd game for BYU. They didn't even get to run 50 plays. There were so many big plays, short field, special teams, scoop and score. K-State had the ball, but BYU made all the plays.
Everything broke their way, man.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Seth McLaughlin snaps it to Will Howard. Hands Quinshon Judkins running left side to the 20. Hits his own 30. On his horse, he goes to the 50. Quinshon Judkins to the Marshall 30-yard line. Judkins to the 20 of the Thundering Herd to the 10, and he is tackled but falls in the end zone for a touchdown. Quinshon Judkins on first down. He takes that baby 86 yards.
Bredesen close, Mullings deep. Orji takes the snap, handoff. Kalel Mullings running left into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolverines! With 37 seconds to go, Kalel Mullings converts, and the Wolverines are back on top.
Shotgun snap, Shador rolls the pocket out to the left, looking downfield, setting his feet, rifles this one towards the end zone, and it just shy, or did he catch it? It was LaJonte Wester! He scooped it up! He scooped it off the turf! Holy cow, what a play! I can't believe my eyes!
Believe your eyes, PK. Hail Mary.
Full of grace, the Lord be with thee. Blessed art thou.
And Colorado takes Baylor OT where they beat them.
Recited that prayer many, many times growing up.
That a kid. Catholic school in Jersey, baby.
I still do.
Also in those highlights, Michigan beats USC with an offensive attack that looked like something out of a 1930 Rose Bowl with USC. 32 yards passing, and they went 27-24. Give SC its first loss. Michigan improves to 3-1.
Who cares about that game? You tried to sell it as the biggest game of the week.
Yeah, I think it was the biggest game of the week.
Tennessee and Oklahoma
Michigan.
all the way. It's Tennessee and
you're
Oklahoma.
buying into the ESPN, ABC, SEC hype. Tennessee beats Oklahoma 25.
I have no idea what station it was on.
25-15. Well, it was in the SEC. They got the whole league.
I don't pay attention to that.
Well, it's kind of been news, PK.
Not for me.
Okay.
I don't. That's TV people. I don't. Tennessee is a team that could go all the way. SC and Michigan aren't.
Not going all the way. Okay.
Yeah. And I was in Tulsa in my hotel, and there were Tennessee people all over the place that were obviously traveling down to OKC and then to Norman.
Right. See the game.
Yeah. And it's the second time over the years that I've been in a hotel that was taken over by Tennessee.
When was the other?
The Utes in basketball played at Kentucky on a Friday in that preseason NIT. And
there's a football game that weekend?
Yeah, the next day. And that hotel was, except for me, the only one not in orange. I mean,
you got into the Tennessee team hotel somehow.
Yeah, and Tennessee's back. I mean, they're really, really good. Last night at their football stadium, Morgan Wallen's doing a concert. Peyton Manning walks out at the start of the concert in full Tennessee uniform.
Chaos Bedlam.
Pads and everything, too.
Yeah, it's full uni.
Put on the pads.
I mean, the Vols are back for sure.
How about SMU taking down TCU 66-42? SMU, like BYU, scoring on big plays. They had a scoop and score. They had a pick six. They had a punt return. That was a crazy game.
Crazy as can be. I mean, go figure.
James Madison, 70-50 over North Carolina. Freaky college football games all over the place.
Hello, Dolly.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into more Big 12 football later in the show. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
The soundtrack of your youth. Al McCoy passing away at the age of 91. Called Suns games for 51 years. Longest tenured team broadcaster in the NBA. That one's got to hit home a little bit, PK.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I grew up like a lot of us did in an era where home games weren't televised. And I was a fan. I mean, it's not like I was a diehard Suns fan, but obviously I paid attention to them. and I listened. You know, they had some good teams and were in contention for a good while. Yeah, I'm standing in the end zone on Saturday. I get a text. Al passed, the voice of Phoenix sports, GOAT. It's from Ryan Hatch, because he works down there. And I said, that's my childhood right there, man. And he texted back, I have so many Al stories. Next time I see you, please indulge. So I got to think of a reason I got to hit up Hatch for tickets.
Perfect. Tickets and stories. That'll be a good trip.
Yeah, he was a legend there, you know, and it's still a smaller town. It's obviously grown a lot, but it's still somewhat smaller. And the Suns were the original team. He did it, Hot Rod Hundley broadcast with him way before I got there.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I think late 60s,
There's
70s.
I saw a photo of it somewhere.
Yeah, that was before I got there.
Yeah. Did the Hot Rod room at the arena. There was a photo of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a legend in the Phoenix area for sure. 91 years old, I think. He quit 2-3 years ago.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Well, the White Sox have done it. Loss number 120. They've matched the 62 Mets, beaten by the Padres 4-2, and they're going to play 6 games with the Angels and Tigers, so the record seems inevitable. Maybe they can get it to 125. Push it out there where nobody can break it.
Well, the Angels aren't any good, but the Tigers are trying to get into the postseason, so yeah, they'll get another loss.
Cincinnati Reds fired manager David Bell, gave him a contract extension last July, 3 years, so he's got some money coming his way. Son of Buddy Bell, you remember that name. Well, it didn't work out. Final week of the Major League season. The minor league season came to a close. The Bees, 30 years at Smith's Ballpark, their last game there. A 3-1 loss to Oklahoma City. Scheduled to play in daybreak at the new stadium next spring. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
RSL in possession. Anderson Julio down the left side. Crosses it in front. Marchuk brings it down. He shoots, he scores! Marchuk, one touch to separate from the defense, find space, and then pass it into the back of the net. And RSL is on top in the 10th minute. And Anderson Julio, part of the build-up again. Little touch down the left side of the 18-yard box to Crooks. Back to Catranis, 30 yards out on the far sideline. To Luna, to Catranis in front, just beyond Anderson Julio. Negative touch back to the keeper. Lost ball. They lost it. Diego Luna pounds it into the back of the net. 2-0, RSL. Portland there, Araujo heads it away. But Brody comes crashing into midfield, wins the ball. Centrally for Chicho. Chicho between 2 defenders for Diogo. Yes! Got it to go! Diogo Gonzalez opens his account. His first goal for RSL looks like a game winner in the 90th minute.
But it wasn't, because 2 minutes later, no pressure on the ball on the service. Nobody marking the guy on the back post. Not surprisingly, that was a goal. And 3-3.
What the hell is this, tennis?
They gave it away.
You got to explain the game. Just don't assume everybody is from Germany.
No, I don't. I assume everybody's from Germany, France, or England.
That was funny.
The pass. There was no one defending. It's not like basketball. You got to have pressure on the ball, or a guy's going to make a great
explain
pass.
It. Not on the service.
There was no pressure on the
thinking
ball.
That's tennis. Okay, explain it. There you go. You just explained it.
And they squander what should have been a win at home.
This
and
is
get
your
just,
sport. You're trying to grow it.
They get just 1 point. Still in second place, but Colorado closing with a win at home. RSL back in action Saturday. They will be in Texas playing Austin. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Poganski all the way across. Kellerman shoots, hit the stick, rebound, they score! Number 2 for Utah. And it's Kevin Connaughton tying the game with 7:39 here in the second. This is Kesselring dealing it back to Cooley. In the corner, McBain. Pass across, they score! Dylan Gunther taps it in, and it's 3-2. A power play goal. Kesselring, McBain, Gunther, tic-tac-toe, and the kid with the new contract buries it into the back of the net. Could not keep it in. It's Carcone with a clear path, and Michael Carcone puts an exclamation mark on Utah's preseason opening win. 5-3 with just over 30 seconds left.
Utah Hockey Club opens the preseason with a victory. They played St. Louis in Iowa. Gave up a couple early goals. Actually scored the second one, an own goal themselves. And then it was pretty much all Utah the rest of the way as they come back to win 5-3. First home preseason game tonight against the LA Kings. Coverage will begin at 7 o'clock here on The Zone. We going to hate the Kings the way we hate the Lakers or USC? No. It's an LA thing, but they're not good enough?
No, this is the rumble in the ice. Colorado. And then Phoenix gets an expansion. We'll hate them.
DJ PK, that is What is Trending, brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Nate Dreiling, interim coach at Utah State, will join us coming up next. We've got questions for both Ute and Cougar fans on our Facebook page, DJ and PK. We'll get to those next as well. DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone.
It's official. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment right here on The Zone. Your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, a full weekend of college football. You hadn't been to a game at Oklahoma State. How was the environment?
Fun.
Crazy, packed, people loving it, tailgating all over the place.
That's about what you'd expect. Yeah, it was good. It was blazing hot.
Yeah.
It was record heat. So you had that going on there.
It wasn't a fall Saturday. It was a summer Saturday.
Yeah, and some people, I got in the elevator, the press elevator, and a guy and a gal who were carrying some equipment. They looked at me. Oh, you from Salt Lake? Yeah. Oh, man, we're sorry. It's normally not this hot. So, and it was cooling down yesterday. They said, oh, it'll cool down tomorrow. I said, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Great. Good for you. Not so helpful for me.
Impressive athletic facilities. You know, they've had a really good baseball team for a number of years.
Yes.
And they're all over on the east side of campus. A lot of room. And it's all flat, obviously. And so it just lends itself to a bunch of tailgating. Yeah. And passionate fans, no doubt about it, you know. I mean, I decided to save the company a couple of bucks. I didn't take the toll roads on the way over.
Uh-huh.
So I went through a bunch of farmland and all.
Yeah.
I didn't do it on the way back because it was night.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be
lost out in the middle of nowhere.
Country roads.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. So, you know, beautiful country there as far as that goes. Different than our area. But, yeah, it had it going on.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I mean, they're a really good program. You know, it's funny. We know that Kyle and Gundy were hired within like 3 or 4 days of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their career record, Kyle has 79 losses. Gundy has 80. They were tied.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kyle has like 181 wins or something, and Gundy has like 183, 184.
Yeah.
Almost like identical.
Almost identical. Yeah, I saw that graphic leading up to the game.
On TV?
No, I think I saw it on social media maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it was remarkable. They were really similar.
Yeah. Almost to the very game.
Parallel lives in different universes. And now in the same Big 12 universe. All right, DJ and PK, we are joined now by Nate Dreiling.
It's time to talk Aggie football with the interim head coach of the Aggies, Nate Dreiling, on your exclusive home of Aggie football, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Coach, good morning.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Coach, I felt like I'd seen that game before. Got a couple of touchdowns, had the lead, 10 minutes to go before the half, and then it got away from you.
Tell me about it. Right now, you know, we're coming out to such great starts. We just don't know how to finish, and until we learn that process, it's going to be a broken record for me. So we're getting closer. We're not there yet, and we got to continue to make strides.
Because of all the things that have happened to this team, it seemed like you guys were behind the 8 ball right from the start, and now this was a tough one. How do you keep the team together?
Well, the big thing is we talked about putting our blinders on and making sure we just show up and keep working every single day. You have no idea what's in store. You just got to keep working and making sure when your opportunity comes that you make the most of it. So now we got a very useful bye week and preparing for Boise, which is going to be a fun and huge game. So we just got to keep worrying about ourselves and keep getting a little bit better. If we do that, I think it'll all take care of itself in the end.
What can the defense do to slow teams down? Because we've looked at the Broncos, and when they get it rolling, yikes.
Yeah, their running back, Gentry, is obviously, supposed to be the first tailback taken off the board. So they do a good job and setting up the play action off of them. So we have to make sure we got a loaded box, and we have to be able to tackle this guy. We counted, he broke 27 tackles against Georgia Southern alone. So that's when he went for 280 yards. So we'll have our hands full for sure, but it'll be a fun game.
A lot of times during the season when teams have bye weeks, particularly early in the week, or actually I should say later in the week, the coaches go out recruiting. How's that working with an interim staff for the Aggies this season?
Oh, yeah, we'll be on the we already have a couple out. Thursday, I'll be out in Salt Lake, and then Friday we'll have every single coach in the Salt Lake and Cache Valley area catching all the big games. So we'll be all over the place. We got a couple in-state commits already, and we need to keep hammering that home.
Well, what's the message to the kids who may wonder, obviously, who's going to be there next year?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we're recruiting like we're not going anywhere, right? And they need to know whether it's me or whoever. They're not committing to a certain staff. They're committing to Utah State, and this is such a special place. There's no reason that nobody wouldn't take them. So their pledge is to the university, and that pledge is going to stay true regardless of who's coaching.
I read some stories over the weekend about what the Pac-6 is going to do next, and obviously everyone's talking Memphis-Tulane, but there are plenty of stories saying, man, if Memphis and Tulane don't want to make a move when they might be making another move, and if the travel's too much, that UNLV and Utah State are next. How many questions are you getting from recruits about the Aggies' future and what the conference setup's going to look like?
Well, yeah, they're definitely excited about it. Everyone wants to play at the highest level, coach at the highest level, and compete at the highest level, right? So I think we're right on the cusp of getting in. But no matter where it falls, right, it's still Cache Valley and one of the best G5 home environments, right? So hopefully we can get in with the Pac-12 or whatever we'll call it. But if not, we're more than happy to compete with whoever wants to show up.
Offensively, a lot of good things. Your quarterback got in there, back, healthy, obviously, looked good. Running game was very impressive. How can you build on that?
Yeah, the only thing we need to do is finish some drives. 2 times we got inside the red zone, inside the 10, and left with no points. So I had a chance to put that game away early. But yeah, it's awesome having Petrus back, and that's honestly the first time he's played a full game in 2 years. So he looked great at times, looked a little rusty at times, kind of what you expect. But when you go a game and Razul has 150 yards and Jaden Royals has 10 catches, you're gonna probably move the ball a lot. Now we've got to continue to enforce the finish part.
In the red zone, is the problem more with running the ball or throwing the ball?
Well, I think it's just a mix. It's just finishing. It's not just red zone offense. It's just this team in general, right? We have to learn to finish. And right now we're just not great at critical moments. Like we jumped off sides when we had a fake punt for a touchdown, and we give up a 91-yard pass when the guy's in double coverage. So just we're falling apart when it matters the most, and that's what we're going to emphasize this next 2 weeks.
All right. Coach, thanks for joining us. Thanks for a few minutes this morning. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Take care.
Yep. There's Nate Dreiling, interim coach at Utah State. The Aggies 1-3 after that loss. A bye week, and then the Broncos. Got a question up on our Facebook page. Oh. Who would have thunk it, Cougar fans? Who would have thunk it?
I'm not sure. In all honesty, certainly not the complexion of the game, not the 29 scoring point difference. Yep. No. And as the game was going early, I thought, these guys are in trouble, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, that was a mixed bag early. I mean, obviously the fact they were giving up so many yards on the ground and couldn't get off the field, red flag right there. But then when they finish with a field goal, and then when it happens again, don't you feel like they're taunting the football gods, tempted them, leaving points out there.
Yeah, but I thought that they would, speaking of...
finally finish it, wear them down, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that they would, yeah. At that point in a game, I got to be honest here. Yeah, sure, I can cheerlead all I want. I wanted them to win. I was in my hotel room. Security had to come and knock on the door, tell me to keep it down.
Good one. You just sitting there quietly watching the game. I can't even imagine that.
That's what I was doing.
All right, join Hans and Scotty Wednesday from 1 to 3 for the Cougar Preview Show, brought to you by Beehive Meals, proud meal partner of BYU Athletics. Hit us up on Facebook, DJ and PK, and on Twitter, David DJ James. Who would have thunk it, Cougar fans? Got a question for Ute fans next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Utes, and the Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Kyle Whittingham and the Utes welcome in the Wildcats of Arizona for a huge Big 12 showdown. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Ute football and your chance to win tickets to the game. Then catch the Ute pregame show this Saturday at 7, with a postgame show immediately following the game. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The band of the day, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Bruce, 74 today, the boss. Brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2024, check out livenation.com.
He's from Jersey.
I think we've all heard that.
He's got a little Scottish in him, but he's mostly Irish and Italian.
Asbury Park, baby.
Well, he's from Freehold, New Jersey, but those Jersey people who got the Irish and Italian blood, they're dangerous.
You're dangerous. That's what you're saying.
When I was at ASU, one semester, it only lasted a semester because it was so out of control. These guys, the guy was from Pennsylvania and his buddies, and they used to, I lived with them for one semester, and I literally had to get out of there or else I was going to die. And they used to do a thing where they would call Moan with Bruce.
Moan.
Yeah, he goes, oh,
yeah,
So they would moan with Bruce. Yeah. Let's moan with Bruce.
That's why you died on the air that time with Bruce. Gave it your all, man.
I mean, just besides all the illegal stuff that they were doing, the guy was an art major. And so he would do his homework with the music blasting. Because he would draw.
Yeah, and everybody else is like trying to read and do math or whatever. Yeah. Good luck.
Right.
But meanwhile, this guy's over there sketching away.
His name was Eric. I don't remember his last name. But yeah, and he was really good.
As an artist, he was really
super talented. Yeah. He'd sit around drawing naked people during the day, and then he'd have assignments. And so he had this big board that he sat on, and he would draw it up there. But it didn't require intense concentration.
Yeah, it's different than reading about science or whatever the rest of you were doing.
So I lasted one semester, and I got out of there. And I had all I did was just went to the student union and saw roommates needed, and I just picked it up blind. That's how I ended up there. Huge mistake.
DJ PK, question about our Facebook page. What should Utah do at quarterback now? Isaac Wilson getting better by the week. Didn't this look better to you than the week before?
And the week before that?
Yeah. And the answers are all over the place. Dennis, Wilson has plenty of time in the future. Stick with Cam. Robert, go with Wilson. He is the Utes' future. And Melody, another year, and we don't know what's going on.
I think there's some frustration with fans continuing to play this song and dance. Don't do it, guys. My big thing, I said this with Lloyd and Christian Cox on the post game on Saturday night. No waiting the whole week. If the old timer isn't ready to go on Tuesday, that's it. You can't mess around. You just can't. You got a season to win. Wilson belongs. There's just no doubt about that. He belongs. He makes plays, and just watch him. He's not wide-eyed. He'll take what's available. He can move around a little bit. We saw that run, but there was one play in particular I thought was better than the run, is that he's dancing in the pocket, and he goes left, and it was on Oklahoma State's sideline, and he's going left. Then he steps back, and he rolls a little bit more. I forget who he finds, but he was buying time. He reminded me a little bit of Beck to Harleen. Buying time. And we can all vision that in our minds, right? And obviously that's a legendary play.
Yeah.
And this is just another play in a game. But he was buying time, and it was like I could hear Rubel in my mind. Seriously, I could. Shuffling.
I was about to say.
Yeah. That call will stick in my mind forever.
Quarterbacks get so many big plays out of the ability to do that.
And it was just a first down.
Right.
It wasn't a super huge
you don't know that
play.
when it's happening, because a lot of time, if they're in man coverage, a guy gets loose, and then he's gone.
And he just threw it off to the side there, and they got the first down. It was probably 3rd and 4 or 5, something. I don't even remember. But the way he looked, no panic whatsoever. The kid belongs, man. There's just no doubt about that. And I got to say, I didn't know, because the high school that he comes from, I'm a little jaded with all the big-time stats. Because in the beginning there, and even going back to when the coach was at Jordan, they were putting up big-time stats, and none of it was translate to the next level.
Right. That's changed at Corner Canyon.
It has absolutely changed. Right. There's no question about it. But I go back.
I know. Nonetheless, we've talked about it in commercial breaks.
Yeah,
about whether this kid's going to make it or that kid's going to make it.
I've known the guy for over,
if so, to what level?
A decade.
Right.
And I know how brilliant he is as a coach. And Zach Wilson, I think, was the first one to start a college game. It's certainly the narrative on that has changed big time. And his younger brother, this latest Wilson, he belongs. And he's flourishing right now. And that first week of first start, because he got all the first team reps. Stop with the uncertainty. We had Devon Vele tell us last year it was disruptive. That's him, not me.
Right, but that was 2 levels of, it was disruptive to not know if Cam was coming back or not, but then they were also playing 2 quarterbacks. And I think that's what bugged Devon Vele. He wanted one guy that he practiced with all the time. So right now, are they going to practice with Isaac all the time?
If Rising is not ready to go by Tuesday,
then have Isaac,
Yeah, if you want to play Wilson, and play the bite guy, Yacht, towards the end. And I asked Kyle, he's won us 2 titles. He's our guy. But I guess you never say never. Okay, well, I agree with you. Why paint yourself into a corner? But there's a lot of frustration that we're going through this thing, and this kid's collecting massive NIL, and he's played 4 quarters in the last 17 games. Those are facts. You can get upset with me all you want for saying the facts, but it's a black and white fact. And, I realized that, it could have been 6 quarters if he played the second half against SUU, but how do you know he wouldn't have got hurt in the second half?
He has played 30 college games. He's been knocked out of 4 of them with 4 different injuries. And of the 50 college games, he's DNP'd, it's 51, I guess. Now he's DNP'd 21 games.
Yeah.
Out of the 51. So there are a lot of people in here saying, even if they go with Cam, it's going to end up being Isaac anyway. That this is a short-term discussion, anticipating another injury. They've seen it so often.
And that sucks.
I know. All right, you wanted to bite. Yak's got it here. Let's listen.
Cam Rising's won 2 championships for us. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. When he's ready to go, that most likely is the direction we will go. Can't see that being any different. I guess you never say never, but can't see that changing.
He left the door open, but honestly, thinking about this when I saw the question you posted, I thought, this is a good radio topic, but Kyle's going to pick Cam. And I think the thing we hear, which the announcers are getting from the coaches in their meetings that they do on Thursdays or Fridays leading up to the game, they always say, now you got the freshman, you don't have as much of the playbook. I think that's changing. I think they're giving Wilson more of the playbook.
That's fine. Jalen Glover fell out of the rotation. And understand he was walking off the field pouting or something on Utah State, and I was told that one of the coaches had to go get him back, celebrate with the team. And Kyle was asked about it. He says, it's all about what you do Monday through Friday that determines Saturday. Okay.
So what's Cam going to do Monday through Friday?
Right. If he's ready to go, they come out today and he's ready to go, by the latest tomorrow, fine. But if he's not, go with Wilson.
DJ and PK, your life moves fast. Quantum Fiber Internet is faster. Move up to tomorrow's speed today. Go to quantumfiber.com. That's quantumfiber.com. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We are joined now by Darius Lassiter, BYU wide receiver.
It's time to take you inside the huddle. Here we go. Straight from the source. This is the Players Club with DJ and PK, featuring Cougar wide receiver Darius Lassiter on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Darius, good morning.
Good morning.
Darius, there was so much adrenaline in that stadium. Everybody's on fire. Are you awake till like 3 in the morning? Is it impossible to calm down and go to sleep?
Yeah, that was one of those games where you kind of just soak it all in, and you just stay up late talking with your teammates about it and how can you guys improve and build on it for next week.
Yeah, I don't really care about football. I have found out since the last week that we spoke to you that your sister was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Yeah, she was. She is currently.
And you're playing in Texas this week. Now, Waco's not right down the street, obviously, from the Dallas area, but will you have any family there?
Yeah, I will have some family come out to that game. I did have some come out at the SMU game.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. And I'm interested to see. Now, you got 2 touchdowns in a row. You got a little dance going in. You got a Texas two-step make ready to go if you should get in the end zone this week?
I got a couple days to figure it out. I got to figure something out by then.
Okay, obviously winning's great, and you want your teammate to make plays and all that, but there's supposed to be a rhythm to a football game, right? You're out there and you play for a while, then the other side goes out there, and if the team scores, everybody's got to celebrate. It looks really bad. It looks really bad if you do not celebrate with your teammates. So you get a punt return touchdown, you're over there, and everybody's high-fiving and jumping around, and then you go back, and the defense goes back out on the field. Then you get a scoop and score, you go celebrate, and then the defense goes back out on the field. That had to be a weird vibe during a football game. You guys were doing a whole lot of standing around on the sideline because the game was going great, which is really rare.
Yeah. I feel like everybody was just excited. Just plays after plays being made by our special teams and our defense. I feel like we had one of the best defenses in the nation. Just a talent relentlessness that Jay Hill has, that he's going to bring the pressure to the quarterback and get call problems for him all day.
Well, Darius, when you look at your defense and you see what they did against Kansas State, and then you see that SMU's team goes crazy, putting up a whole boatload of points against TCU, that has just proven that this defense is legit now. And if it can stay healthy, it's got an opportunity to be really good. And Jay Hill's unit deserves a ton of credit. As I look at it offensively, I thought I saw now the last couple games, I've seen some improvement. And the way I describe your offense is opportunistic, meaning if you got to drive together, you can put some points on the board. You think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like any time that you can keep drives going with 8-9 plays, that just gives you guaranteed points, whether it's 3 or 7. So our biggest thing is just to keep sustaining drives and be able to go down there and put points on the board.
Granted, it was a weird game because you guys didn't get as many plays, and that changes all the stats, and there's a bunch of shorthand in football, 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving, all that kind of stuff to judge it by. Does the offense feel better to you? You're 4 games deep. Everybody's getting reps here. I mean, the numbers are going to be weird because of the game, but does the offense feel like you're really hitting right now?
Yeah, we feel great. We feel like we know that we didn't have a lot of yards just because of the spots that we were getting the ball back at, just with our defense and then special teams. So we feel great. We know there's a lot of things that we can improve on as an offense, and we'll continue to do that throughout the season. We just got to keep taking it one game at a time.
That touchdown run by Moa was just incredible. It looked like he was tackled for maybe a yard gain, and he gets downfield. He's breaking 4 or 5 tackles and just waltzing into the end zone. I got to admit, man, didn't know much about them. You guys are there every day. How surprised were you?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it's surprising when you see somebody bounce off 6 tacklers, but I'm not surprised that it happened at all. But because that's something that he was doing in fall camp, just showing that toughness. That he's not gonna let the first guy bring him down. That he's gonna keep running, and it's gonna take the whole team to get him. So I was on the field with him at the time. I was shocked. I seen him break the first one. I just kept waving my hand and telling him to keep going.
Kalani in the post game, and he says this often, but to me it just hit different because now you're 4-0 and now you're nationally ranked. But I heard the words, stay humble. We're older. We've watched a lot of college football seasons. We can't even list all the teams that we've seen get off to a great start, and then they think they got it made, and they lose their edge and they get beat. What can you do to guard against that? Because the league, it looks like you guys fit in well with the top teams in the league.
Yeah, that's also been a point for us on the leadership wise, just because we knew that we were going to be in this position to where we had to stay humble and people would start chirping about us and start saying that's how good we are. But we know that there's so much season left that we can't be looking ahead. We just got to stay in the moment. And that means we got to keep making a play so we can continue to climb up the charts nationally and so we can get the respect that we deserve.
Guys like you, guys like Chase Roberts, guys like Connor Pay, you guys have been there. You were there as recently as last year. You got off to a pretty good start last year, and then we saw what happened. So I'm thinking the leadership of these guys like yourself, the ones I just named, and even Retzlaff to a good degree. He didn't play early on, but he was on the team. That you've already been through this, so it's got to help to maintain the focus that you need to make sure that, not that you're looking in the past, but because you know what happened last year, you guys are prepared or better prepared to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, we can't have what happened last year happen to us again. We started out real hot. I kind of felt like everybody just thought that we arrived and we made it in, that once we got into conference play, it was just going to be an easy little cakewalk, but that wasn't the case. Obviously, we lost the next 5 or so, whatever it might be, but we just got to keep playing with each other because at the end of the day, the team is all that who's going to believe the most. So once we can block out all the outside noise, there's no telling how good we're going to be.
Now, if the outside noise motivated you, would you not block it out, but maybe repeat it and make it a little louder? And what I have in mind here is I looked at the spread for the game, and I don't normally bring this up with the players, put you in a bad spot, but you're the underdog. Not a big underdog, but Baylor's 2-2, and they're favored by 2.5 points. And I would think that would really irritate a lot of football players, especially, big linemen who play better when they're angry. You're going to go make them angry.
Yeah, we still feel like we still being kind of disrespected. We've seen it, what the prediction was, but that's not something we can worry about right now. We gotta worry about how we're gonna prepare throughout the week and our preparation, the meetings, and the practice field as well. So we're just gonna take it one at a time, and so that we can go out there and prove them wrong.
Well, that would be 3 in a row that you'd be the underdog then if you got into that. And so in the end, when the ball goes up on the kick, it doesn't really matter at that point. Mm-hmm. The thing that I love conference play especially because every game is just gigantic, right? You look at it, Baylor, you probably saw, I was flicking around. I was in Oklahoma covering the Utes, so I'm watching your game. I'm in the hotel, and I'm flicking around, and I see how they tripped over themselves, lose to Colorado. Well, that means if they lose the home game, they're 0-2. Kansas State and Oklahoma State, 2 teams that are expected to contend, they play each other, so somebody's going to start 0-2, and nobody obviously wants to start 0-2. And that means these teams that have already lost the first week, they are going to be as desperate as can be because you get in a hole 0-2, that's a tough spot to come and climb out of. So not that you're worried about what Baylor's doing, but how much does that help you knowing that these teams now, if you lose a conference game,
you can be okay, but if you start losing more than one, then you get desperate. And they ought to be able to, whatever they got, they ought to be able to bring it at home on Saturday.
Yeah. We know that anytime you lose, you always want to go out there and improve people wrong to yourself and to the team. So we know that we're going to get the best out of them this week, and they're going to get the best out of us, especially coming off a loss. Nothing drives you more and frustrates you more than wanting to go out there and get the win. So we just got to come out being prepared. We can't look at a record because at the end of the day, it's football, and the team that's going to play the best is going to win.
As a college football veteran now, you know that one of the things that changes as you get into the middle third of the season here is the injuries pile up, and you need second and third string guys. You need younger guys to step in. As a guy who's played a lot of college football, and as a guy who, man, if you're not receiver 1, you're receiver 1A, do you have time and do you have the focus to talk to these younger guys and tell them you may not be playing now, but you got to keep going because game 5, 6, 7, 8 is somebody's going to get called on who isn't playing right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year we had that happen. I went down with a knee injury, and our young receivers had to step up. Like JoJo Phillips, like you never know when your time and your turn's going to come. So you got to always stay ready, be in the playbook because it's a long season, and we play a physical sport. Injuries happen, so at any point you got to be ready. And it's kind of a different mindset than high school. So normally you come from a place where you're the top dog and everything just goes your way. And once you kind of not that guy, once you first get there, it kind of just gets you that little hit. And sometimes you might not put the same work in, but you always got to stay ready.
Always is fun to look at scheduling and kickoff times. So you get 8:30, and then the next week on your body clock would be 10 a.m., 11 Texas time. Do you like playing that early, a morning game? I don't know what you guys are going to have to get up at 6 or something versus, I mean, that's, 7 days after starting a game at past 8:30 at night. It's kind of funky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We probably might have to start a pregame meal like 7 or 8. So I feel like it's different. I think I'm more of a 2 p.m. type guy, but 10 a.m. is not bad. So whenever you get back from the flight, you can kind of just have your day. And normally when you have a night game, you got to go straight to sleep once you get back. So I enjoy the early ones.
You may be back in Provo by 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Well, that's the upside right there. I assume you played football in elementary school. You must have had some 10 a.m. kickoffs at some point.
Yeah, you always get I feel like when you're a little kid, that's all you look forward to early in the morning. It's Saturday. It's just either watching TV or just going out playing football. So.
Yep. Well, congrats on the win. Congrats on the 4-0 start, and we will talk to you again next week. Thanks for joining us, Darius.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right, there's Darius Lassiter, wide receiver for BYU. And they do have the advantage of having two guys performing at a pretty high level. Just makes it that much harder on the defense. You never know if Lassiter's going to get you or if Robert's going to do it.
Right, both of those guys are very, very good. There's no doubt about that. They got a nice collection there, and they got some younger guys that are on the come. I want to see some more tight ends. I haven't seen as much tight ends. I know Swanson got a catch the other night, but I think they've got the ability to utilize them, and it hasn't been as much as I thought that they utilized, because the idea, and from the fans' perspective, is to get the ball in the end zone. Doesn't matter who's leading the way on that. But they've got some weapons there that I still think that the offense is operating maybe at like 60, 65% of what I think they're capable of doing. Defense is 95%. I guess you can always do better. You're never perfect in that way.
Park it at 95% since they gave up 3 field goals.
Yeah.
But then if they just keep giving up 3 field goals.
Right.
9 points here, 15 to SMU.
And they held the Caucasian Avery Johnson in check. So that guy can. What are you laughing at, Yag?
Probably the Caucasian Avery Johnson.
The Caucasian Avery Johnson. That's pretty funny.
Oh, I remember the other one.
Younger listeners may not remember the Spurs point guard.
I was thinking the Alabama coach.
I was going to say the broadcaster. Come on now.
The high-pitched Mike Tyson-like voice. So that was a great defensive effort. And you could see that those guys were frustrated not being able to do what they wanted to do and what they're used to doing at K-State. And they couldn't really get it going. And they had funky stuff that I don't think BYU can count on to use in terms of getting victories. It worked in their favor Saturday night. But you're not going to have a punt return where the guy's he's dribbling it towards your own end zone, your own goal line. It's like I thought he was Curly Neal there in the basketball things that they used to do, and it's like you're going the wrong way, and then somehow we know what happened, and then I got a text from my sister down in Maricopa, Arizona. Hey, how about that kid from Chandler returning that fumble? They were watching she's a college football fan more than NFL. My other sister
has the NFL too.
Yeah. But they like the college game. They watch college games all day Saturday, particularly this time of year when it's still pretty hot. And so, yeah.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, she's texting me.
10 a.m., you don't want to be outdoors. It's already heating up.
And I said, I'm sitting in a hotel room in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and said, we figured we were debating. She was debating with her husband, do you think he's in Provo or do you think he's in Oklahoma? Well, I went to Oklahoma. And so you can't count on that a lot, but you can count on that defense, man. That's the thing that you can count on, which gives you a form of hope for sure that this team will be competitive. And you don't want to take anything for granted, but if they don't get bowl eligible this year, then it's going to be worse than last year.
There's that.
Right.
Yes. They still got Houston sitting out there, and Houston looks terrible.
Well, Houston and ASU are out there.
And ASU may be below average, but Houston looks terrible.
They are. Yeah, I know that.
That just.
But
not to
now,
give up the power poll, but they're 16.
You're not just thinking 6.
Oh, well, didn't I tell you last week if they win this, you got to think 8 or 9? Are you thinking 8 or 9 now?
I don't know. No, I haven't thought about it that much.
They're 4-0. Can they go 4-4 the rest of the way?
I suppose, but I haven't. I have to break down the games, not just the raw numbers.
Okay.
Who they're playing, who's available when they're playing, how these teams are doing. Because what you're doing in September could be dramatically different from what you're doing in November.
Absolutely true, and we saw that in the Big 12 last year in the positive sense that Iowa State was not good in September, and they were very good in October, November. So it definitely changes. And we saw BYU start 5-2 and lose 5 straight. So that point's 100% true. And I think when you break these teams down going forward, one thing you have to look for, because the BYU defense is good, is does the opposing team have a complete offense? K-State had a good offense, but watching them throw the ball, man, Avery Johnson, his numbers are okay, but you hate going with the raw numbers. I thought the passes he threw were simple, quick, short passes to perimeter that were safe. Anytime he had to do anything else, it was trouble. The 2 interceptions, when you see the camera from behind the goalpost and you see what he saw, you wonder what he saw. Why did you throw that ball? There was nothing good that was going to happen. If you're lucky, they drop it, and they didn't drop it. So they got picks. Taggart was always going to pick that pass off. So if you don't have a complete offense, how are you going to attack the BYU defense? If you come out one-dimensional or pretty close to it, you're making it easy on a defense that's already pretty good.
Are you ready to call that they're going to beat Utah?
No.
Why not?
That's why I say 8 or 9. I think there's still teams out there that are good, that are complete, that they're going to struggle with. I think you're warming to the thought of 8 or 9. And 9's probably a bridge too far for you, and it may be a bridge too far for them. But 8, come on now.
Hey, when you play BYU and you're on that bridge, you're over troubled waters.
It's Springsteen today. You're mixing and matching your old-time music groups. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
You're teasing it right now, and we're giving it away next. Or are we giving it away now? We're doing it next.
Yock, just open the mic and tell us what we're doing, because obviously you're the only one of the three of us who knows what's going on. So Yock, save the day, baby.
8:30.
We've got
8:30.
Yeah, we've got tickets to give away to the UFC event coming up at Delta Center on October 5th.
These are a hot item, as you might imagine. Yeah. So we are going to get our first qualifier that's going on all week long on all the shows. So,
and I get to do it. I'm so excited.
That's next. Stay with us. PK's voice will break like Avery Johnson. Next.
It's game week for the Cougars. And the Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Kalani, Sitake, and the Cougars hit the road to Waco for their first Big 12 road trip for a battle against Baylor. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch the Cougar pregame show this Saturday with the postgame show immediately following the game. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app.
Yeah, boy!
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, it's time for the UFC ticket giveaway right here on the Zone. This is your chance to win a pair of tickets to the UFC 307 at Delta Center on October 5th. Here's what you do. Visit KSLSports.com/contest now. Do it now. And then click on UFC 307 ticket giveaway and enter the keyword for a chance to win. Today's keyword is UFC. And then you listen to The Zone every day this week for the best chance to win. New keywords will be revealed daily. KSLSports.com contest. Click on the UFC 307 ticket giveaway and the keyword for the chance to win. The keyword today is UFC, which of course isn't a word, but you get the point.
Key abbreviation. You have outdone yourself, Patrick Kinahan. I do not enjoy complimenting you.
I know, and I search out ways to prompt you up.
And prompt you up?
Isn't it prop?
Prop you up. I think you said prompt.
Isn't that an expression?
Yeah, prop you up.
He does prompt you up in a way if you think about it the show.
This question, the more I think about it, the more layers it has to it, the better it gets. And the people are complaining about it. You are wrong. You are wrong.
What's the question?
The question, what should Utah do at quarterback now? And I think, if anything, it's the word now that I want to eliminate. What should they do at quarterback? Because it's not just now.
Well, the game is
something.
Now.
Yeah, the game's coming up Saturday, and that is the next decision. And is Cam healthy? Were they okay? Be careful with him with the non-conference, and then he'll be ready to go in the conference. But he's not ready to go in the conference. So how bad is this injury? They don't want to get into what is or isn't healing, or was hurt more seriously, or whatever. And it shades of last year. And I think what you said about Devon Vele needs to be repeated. It really stuck with you and I, but I get people who aren't paid to do this full time, can't keep track of all these quotes and don't have as much time. Devon Vele came on our show last year every week and said he wanted one quarterback to get 80% of the practice reps as a starting quarterback, be the starting quarterback. He needed to get that timing. And once they got to that late in the year, Devon Vele's stats went way up.
He did.
He made more plays.
It's a fact.
He called his shot. He was 100% serious. It caught our ear because he was being critical of the coaches publicly. He didn't like the decisions they were making. And he was very careful to be respectful when he did it. But nonetheless, he contradicted their plan in public. And it just doesn't happen with Utah football. And then it played out on the field. So whatever they do going forward, whoever's going to play on Saturday needs to get a lot of reps during the week. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That needs to happen. It's going to help the receivers. Devon Vele called it. He's in the NFL, and I'm sure there's plenty of Ute fans thinking, man, an NFL receiver, we didn't get enough out of him. And to that, all I can say is, you got a good point. Excellent. We got a lot of frustration from fans. Melody, another year, and we don't know what's going on. That one stuck with me. But we have this BYU fan who just weighed in. And happy BYU fan, at Ryan Daniel Moon. Now, first off, he caught my eye because he used his real name.
R.D. Moon?
R.D. Moon. That he put it in, I suppose it could be a lie, but it looks like he used his real name. And he says, I fear it doesn't even matter. They're probably as good as advertised. Crying emojis with the tears puddling underneath the face. This guy's a BYU fan. He didn't want to see the Utes go 12-0, but I think he's probably worried about that right now. An interesting part of this question is, like, regardless of the quarterback, is this team so good that they can beat everybody?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
One of these quarterbacks will cost them a game if they're not careful, if the coaches don't do the right thing.
Not necessarily. I don't know, the quarterback is going to cost them.
But I think that's what he's getting at when he says it doesn't matter.
But you're implying they just show up. No, they have to play well. They're in a great spot. To me, I would be shocked now if they're not in Arlington the first week in December.
Given 1 week of scores,
yeah,
the odds were already very good. They were going to Arlington, but whatever they were, they're better.
Because you only have to finish second.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I don't think they're going to finish third or below. They're going to finish first or second.
Right.
Doesn't matter
Watching
which
football
one.
and looking at the standings.
Yeah. And then you have to win that ball game down there in Arlington.
Especially now, because often the qualifier is, if they keep the quarterback healthy, and now it looks like they have two good quarterbacks.
But they've got to play well to win. And
you saw what happened when they didn't play well for 5 minutes.
But Cam Rising, on paper, is he a good quarterback? But you don't win games on paper. Mm-hmm. And so, when he's healthy, he's doing well. But, I mean, I would be hesitant to just anoint him anything because Rising is perpetually injured, unfortunately. And Wilson can get hit just as easily as anybody else. And then you're down to your third team.
If you're down to your third quarterback,
you
there you go.
You don't know what's going to happen there as far as that goes. So I don't think that what happened in 2022 ensures Rising the job in perpetuity.
I see your point.
No, that goes against everything you built your program on. If Jalen Glover has to compete and earn playing time Monday through Friday, why doesn't Cam Rising?
Yep.
What? Why is the rule different for him?
Because good quarterbacks are so hard to come by. That's the reason rules are different for quarterbacks. That's why they don't get in practice. Good quarterbacks are so hard to come by. But right now, it sits here and it looks like the Utes have two good quarterbacks. So why not have them compete?
Yeah, I thought competition iron sharpens iron, and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So you're going to tell this young buck, sorry, man, what happened 2 years ago, he's our guy. What happened 3 years ago, he's our guy.
No, I go back to everything you built the program on, and it's a different sport, and it's pro, not college, although that line's sure been blurred the last couple of years, especially with Cam.
If the other guy's better, so be it.
When Pablo Mastrona comes on and says 11 dogs, when Utah had 11 dogs on defense, that was an awesome performance. Last 5 minutes, when they thought they had it made, Pablo says, we don't have 11 dogs, we're pretty average.
Well, they read your tweet.
You were
I
thought it was over.
Yeah.
And it was over.
No, you were wrong.
No, it was over. They won.
You can backpedal and
I'm not backpedaling. Said they'd win, they won.
You're often much of a contrarian today. You're just arguing everything I say.
You've always told me to do that.
Somehow, I'm the arguer.
I agree.
This has happened a million times. Harbaugh benched Alex Smith.
Yes, he did.
Jed Fish last year. Delora got hurt. Fafita came in. They won 10 games.
Yeah, on to the next guy.
It's about production. It's not... No one's entitled to anything here. I don't care what you did in 2022. That was nice, and you'll get a round of applause here for the rest of your life when you show up and they put you on the scoreboard and all that stuff.
Always have the Pac-12 titles, baby.
That's great, but you're not playing for the Pac-12 title now. Who cares what you did 2 years ago?
Dustin, I refuse to participate in this tomfoolery. It is not tomfoolery, Dustin, and I think Kyle knows that. When Kyle talks about football, you got to listen. And when he gave his answer...
Whittingham.
Yes. That's right. Nice. That's very old school. E.F. Whittingham, when he is answering your question at the postgame, and then he says, never say never, it's because that football brain is already computing multiple possibilities.
I'm only holding them to the standard that they have articulated themselves. Mm-hmm. It's about competition. Nothing is guaranteed. You have to play.
And let's not assume that both guys are 100%. What if Cam's good enough to play, but he's at 80%? At what point is 70 or 80% of Cam not as good as 100% of Wilson?
Man, I don't know that he's played at less than anything. It seems like it's the Carlos Boozer thing here. I'm either 100% or I'm 0.
I don't go. Yeah. But he hasn't had a guy playing like that out there. Is that going to put a little pressure back to the competition thing?
Well, if he can't grip the football, I told you last week.
If he can't grip the football.
If he can't grip the football, he's not going to play. Yep. That's what I was told last week. I watched him. You're not going to play with a glove on here and it's record heat. Maybe in the cold and all that, and they get into December, November, or January, in the NFL. We've seen that. Yeah. But it literally was record heat. I was standing right there outside the locker room. He walked right by me. He's got the white glove on, thinking, it's Wilson. And I looked on Twitter, all these reports, it's going to be Rising. I'm thinking, my eyes, he's 20 yards away from me. I can see it with myself. And I'm thinking, it's Wilson. And then when they come out on the field for legitimate warm-up, well, not warm-up, they've already done all that, and I see over on the field of play across the sideline, Wilson's the one throwing the ball. I thought to myself, I'm in the press box now. I said to the guys, it's Wilson. I was not surprised at all at that point. I didn't know if Rising was going to be able to grip the ball to the level, but when he goes out there and he still has the glove on, what quarterback is playing with a glove on the throwing hand when it's literally record heat?
Doesn't happen.
No.
It's not the way it goes. It's not the way it works. And the thing is, grip the football and throw it 40 yards on the money with some zip on it.
I don't need you to be 80%. This is not a knock against Rising whatsoever. I need you to be 100. If you're not 100, you're not going. I've got this other guy over here. I'm going with him.
Moses, there's only one correct answer to this question. Run a 2-quarterback system, because that always seems to work.
You go by play, or you go by series, you go by quarter, you go by halves. There's many options to do there.
There are many options.
None of which will be employed.
Good. Because that is clearly sarcasm from Moses.
I know.
It doesn't always seem to work.
I understand.
It usually seems to mess the team up.
Yeah, it does. And there's no need to do that.
Right.
Here's the deal. The standard is, are you capable of doing everything that you've done in 21 and 22? If the answer is no, and the answer needs to be now, not Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
Devon was right.
Yeah.
Receivers benefit from the reps.
I want this to be decided by Uno coach.
Oh, I see what you did there.
And I want it to be decided by Tuesday at noon. And no more, there's a word I want to say that I won't say. Farting around.
There you go.
We're done with that.
Farting around.
We tried that last year, and it didn't work.
How'd that go?
And you had a pig farmer. Now you got a heralded quarterback that was offered by most folks out there. And he's 2-0. And he's looking the part. He looks the part. He's not overwhelmed at all. Just the pass he threw on the first pick against SMU or SUU versus what he was doing in Oklahoma State, there might as well have been 10 years of difference in between the way he looked then and the way he looked Saturday. At that point, man, he's looking like, I got this. What do you got, Ludwig? What play do you want? I'm ready to go. So I got a guy over here who's winning me ball games. What the heck is the discussion? Because of some loyalty? What loyalty is there here? It's about winning football games.
Al Davis.
We're not making friends over here.
Just win, baby.
Yeah. I don't know how you think otherwise. If the dude is healthy, 100%, gloves off, you're ready. It's time to take the gloves off. And then it's ready to go. If not, you're going with him. What is the discussion? Why are we even... Yeah, some people say, why are we having this discussion? I agree with you. But the premise of why we're having this discussion, you are wrong, and this is right. If he's ready to go and you take the glove off, then you go. If not, the other guy goes. Ready? Family on 3.
I'm only surprised that you didn't end it at take the gloves off, because I really thought you stumbled into something there, and I thought you heard it.
I don't stumble into anything. I go into stuff full head of steam right into the truth.
Uh-huh.
And there's no stumbling. I'm not Parker Kingston running towards my goal line here.
Nice. Okay, go out on a high note there, Costanza. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, The Zone.
And now, your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealer strong play of the weekend.
Well, now the punt. And that one might have been touched, maybe. Scooped up by the return man, Parker Kingston. And now he's going to turn the corner. There he goes. Kingston to the 50. Still going. Kingston. Touchdown.
There is a Chevy Strong play of the game. Yak usually asks us our opinion, but this one was a no-doubter. He took matters into his own hands.
Oh, it was that or go with Colorado on a Hail Mary, but they didn't win on that Hail Mary, so.
There it is. Know it this afternoon after 3 o'clock. Alex and JJ will call for it, and you can win fabulous prizes. DJ PK, more people weighing in on the Utah quarterback situation. JB at 77, Little Red Vet, says Rising just needs to be available in Arlington. It doesn't matter who you go with leading up to that game as long as you win.
Oh, wait. So Wilson kicks butt
for 12-0.
2 months.
He's 12-0.
2+ months.
Yeah, he has them ranked in the top 5 in the country.
Rivalry game. I'm a freshman. I can handle it. Iowa State. Forgot your Cyclones.
Yeah.
He takes him to 12-0, and then he steps aside.
I've got no problem with Cam Rising as a starting quarterback, and they'll win a ton of games with him as a starting quarterback. There's no question about that. But I don't want this dog and pony show every week. And we go through the same silliness that we went through last week.
But I think we should make it clear it's not that we care that we need the dog and pony show. This is what the receivers need. We had a really good receiver. Flat out, tell us what receivers need.
Needs it.
Yeah?
But
okay, you can go to that too.
Specifically. Well, and you saw now that Singer and Wilson are having a little bit of chemistry here.
It's clear. It's clear that Wilson looked for Singer.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a default go-to that is, I guess, maybe the best quarterbacks don't, but I think even they do. I mean, even Tom Brady looked for Gronk when times are tough. You got the chemistry and you just know.
Oh, yeah.
And for Cam Rising, he's going to look for Brant Keithy. He's going to look for Brant Keithy again and again and again. And after the first game, when the ball didn't get spread around and Keithy gets it and these other guys aren't getting the ball, and Kyle's answer was, well, Cam's only got one football and there's 3 receivers open or 4 receivers open. I mean, they looked at the film. Like, well, why'd you go there? Well, because he was at the goal line wide open, coach. Yeah, good decision.
Well, yeah.
But he looks to Keithy first. The other guy may be at the goal line wide open. He's going to look to Keithy.
Yeah, and as long
Which
as
is
you're
fine. It's a
scoring
touchdown. Who cares?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. But it does. Singer definitely came to life. But how can a quarterback not, we haven't mentioned this on the radio, how can a quarterback not trust receiver when Singer's making the catches for him? I mean, that catch, and I don't know on the field how much they can see and your view's obscured, but on TV and in the press box, the catch on the back of the neck by Singer, that was David Tyree territory.
It was more bizarre.
At least that was on top.
I think it was side.
Top side? Yeah.
Yeah, but just he smacked it against the
helmet. But around behind your neck.
This thing is rolling
as
around.
you hit the ground and spin around.
And you're at a 90-degree angle practically.
And he held it.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
It really was. We're like, well, the ball never came loose. What are they reviewing it? And I think they reviewed it just because it was so bizarre.
I want to watch that again. What a great catch.
Yeah. And then, sure it was. And so he's coming of age, so to speak, with the Utes. And maybe that could happen with Rising because he's new to the program and we're only in the 4th game going into the 5th week of the season. And so that could have happened either way. But rather than what could have, I'd go with what has. And it's a fact that Wilson the Singer is on to something here. And so they need to take advantage of that. And Keithy will always be available as long as he's healthy. He's a proven commodity, no question about it. You get the ball to him as much as you can, and you're going to have success. And no doubt about that. He's just that good.
The Ute fanatic trying to be pragmatic here. Wilson this week, then bring Cam back after the bye. In 3 weeks, because you got a full week here, you got a full week for the bye week, and a full week to get ready.
What are you, Old McDonald here?
Yes.
A week here, a week there.
Here a week, there a week, everywhere a week.
Sure. but only if he's healthy. No one is entitled to anything. He's won the job. The job is his if you're healthy. And at this point, with the other guy doing so well, he has to be 100%. If he comes out there with a glove, I'm going to go nuts.
Oh, if he plays with a glove on.
There's no need.
Yeah.
If you were losing ball games, that's another story. But you're not.
You just won a big game on the road in conference.
Yeah.
I mean, you won a road game against Utah State, but it's different. You went to beat a ranked team on the road.
And with that defense, you can afford to make this statement. I got to have my guy healthy. Get him healthy, man. Yeah. And maybe he needs another 2 weeks to go. But see, then, too, at the same time, he's dressing. So if something happens.
In an emergency, he can play.
Well, not necessarily in an emergency.
If there's an injury to Wilson that knocks him out of a game.
Or the offense is struggling.
You just need to flip the switch.
Yeah.
Cam puts on the cape and runs into the game.
So you've got him dressed, ready to go if necessary, but it wasn't necessary. I mean, you just felt the complexion of that game. And Wilson is going to make mistakes. He should have had a pick in the end zone. He floated it.
The ball Singer broke up?
Yeah.
Yeah. After he had his big run.
It was underthrown, and he floated it, and it should have been a pick.
Singer made a good play.
So he's going to make picks. But when you have that defense, you can withstand some stuff. And that's what's good. And I'm not so concerned about the future. I mean, who the heck knows what can happen next year? SC can throw money at him, and he'll decide to transfer there. Who knows? I mean, whatever. I don't know. There's a million things that can happen in today's world. So I don't think you can get.
You got to play for the now.
Yeah, you got a
good,
coach
bad,
here
unpredictable,
who is less than 2 months away from being 65, and these seniors they're not going to have next year. And you got a chance to get to the playoff. To me, outside of like Georgia and Ohio State, Utah has a legitimate chance to get to the playoff as much as any team, and I guess I would throw Texas in there now, than those three teams.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Coming up at 9:30, Karene Reid, Ute linebacker, joins us. Stay with us. DJ and PK brought to you in part by Sigfrid and Jensen with 30 years of serving Utah. Questions up on our Facebook page. What should Utah do at quarterback now? Uh-oh. They got two guys who could play. Go with the young guy built for the future. Go with the healthy guy. Bring back the vet who's already won 2 conference titles. And then over here on the other side of the street, we got these guys. Who would have thunk it, Cougars? Not just 4-0, which a lot of people, very, very few people would have believed 4-0 when the season started.
I wouldn't have.
And yet here they sit at, me neither. Here they sit at 4-0, and not just 4-0, but a convincing drubbing of Kansas State. An avalanche of points right before and right after halftime. Johnny's dance party. Hey, usually home field advantage is 3 points in football, but in the case of this game, it was 30 points. John Eastman, this is what we call, and then the wheels fell off. It was what happened to Alabama when Utah played against them in the Sugar Bowl. It's what happened to Jake Heaps against Utah when BYU got blown out. These games are statistical anomalies and are not indicative of the comparable talent of both teams. They happen, but they don't happen twice in the same season to the teams involved.
Well, I can buy that, but at the same time, BYU's defense held SMU to without a touchdown, and they held Kansas State, and SMU put up 60, whatever it was, the other night against. It was so bad that Sonny Dykes got ejected. And
kicked out.
Don't normally see that.
A rivalry game, and he's coached on both sides of it, and you're right, you don't. But he got asked to leave. Yeah. And you can go now.
That's a long walk. I made that walk.
And the 60 is a little misleading because there were 2 defensive touchdowns and a special teams touchdown, but that's still 40 points for an offense that didn't get out on the field several times because the defense had to run right back out there. Defense scores, defense goes back out, and they'll still put up 40.
Right, and so with that in mind, the defense is legit. Yeah, it was crazy. The statistics would indicate that the Kansas State certainly should have been right in the ball game, not to lose by 29 points.
Sure, but
if not one.
But the turnovers were 3-0.
I know.
Now, can that be replicated? Can they keep decisively winning the turnover battle? You're not always going to get the scoop and score. You're sure not going to get the punt return. That thing, you may score on special teams, and you're not going to score another punt return like that thing. That thing was crazy.
And not all turnovers are created equal.
That's true.
Where is it on the field, and what's your defense do once there's a turnover? But to score on it, the things were bizarre in that way, so be it. But it happened. I mean, this is an emerging team here. This is not a finished product. And I think they need to show some more consistency offensively, figure out what they're going to do, who's available with the run game, and go from there. And things work. Just because they do things one way, I think the games are their own entities, and that entity that week requires you to do something that isn't necessarily going to be prominent in the game plan the following week or down the line. You're just trying to win that game. That's all it is. You listen to A-Rod. The future and, this guy's young, let's build, none of that, or, whoa, he's got 4 games, we can't play him. No, none of that matters. It's all on the table for what to do this week to win
this game.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Yep. And like Isaac Wilson, the next game he plays, he's done with the red shirt.
Oh, well.
BFD.
I know.
Yeah, nobody cares.
But didn't we learn from Alex Smith on that?
Yeah, well, those rules were different back then.
They were, but still, he went after 3 years, so they burned a year. Yeah, well, he left one on the table.
I thought he left 2. I thought he redshirted a year and then.
No, he was supposed to redshirt, but they put him in for a couple plays in San Diego and burned the year.
It was Paul Kruger who left 2 on the table.
Yeah.
But none of that matters. It's all right now. This is literally a week-to-week job. Recruiting is what you do for the future and all that stuff. But I don't think anybody coaches with the idea of let's bring them along, blah, blah, blah. You got some guys that aren't ready to play, and so you get in a blowout. Then you put them in there to get some game experience. And if they're not in your too deep, then you maybe need to just massage whether he plays 4 games or not, and that's fine. But that's just because the kid isn't in the mindset of let's win right now. But everybody else, the majority, the top 45 guys or so, it's all about winning now. And so I wouldn't necessarily judge on what they did or didn't do from the offensive perspective on how that's any season-long implications. They got to continue to get better, that's for sure. And offensively, it's got to be more consistent. But they did. We complained that the offense didn't do enough a couple weeks ago. Well, the offense did enough. Retzlaff threw for a couple of TDs. They did enough.
He didn't turn it over. He threw for a couple TDs.
Yeah.
They got that short field after the turnover, and they scored in 2 plays, which is exactly what you want.
Right. So you got to be pleased about that. And away they go, man. But every game for them is going to be huge. Maybe the exception of Houston.
But that's game 12. I think the Baylor game is huge.
There's no question it is.
On paper and the way this first month of the season has gone, BYU should win. But you had all this energy at home. Now you're going on the road.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
11 o'clock in the morning. Are the guys going to be as focused and as amped and as hyped as they were? Baylor, you want to go with a wounded animal, and their season's on the line, and their coaching staff is coaching for their jobs, and they'll be at home, and what will their crowd be like?
That's all to be potential advantages, but you have to make it a disadvantage. You have to at least neuter it and make it neutral, and then you go from there. BYU is capable of beating Baylor. I don't think there's any question, but I don't think that,
Baylor's capable of beating BYU.
Yeah, and
BYU's capable of losing the game.
And I think that's the way it's going to be for them every game, probably with the only exception being Houston. I think the Devils, I'm going to cover that game because I said that could be bowl eligibility on the line for both teams. Now I'm thinking it's more about the Devils and the Cougs will have it taken care of because it's the next to last game of the season.
BYU's +1 on everybody's expectations now. For some people, they're +2.
I would say
nobody had them at 4-0. You may have had them at 2-2. You may have had them at 3-1.
Yeah, the SMU game, you get them. You don't really know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't play them, and you played them a few years back, but And I think SMU, you got them when you needed to get them. I think SMU is going to be a lot better as the season progresses. They're done with the quarterback rotation, which I thought was stupid. The one dude was Jennings was clearly better than the other, and that's what they went with. And sure enough, they get a big win. So you got them. That's what I say. Depends on when you play some of these teams here, and who knows going forward. It's impossible to project. We're still in September for the next couple of months, but they're looking good now, and they got to keep it going. Why not? Why not keep it going? Any road win is huge, and you can get to 5-0, 2-0, and then even if you are kidding yourselves, you believe you're really good. Keep it going as long as you possibly can.
Because it can turn quickly, as
It's
they
the same
saw
thing
last
with
year.
Isaac Wilson. He probably thinks, I'm pretty good. And he should think that. I just quarterbacked a team that went in there and beat Oklahoma State in their building, and that was expected to be a contending team. Now, Oklahoma State can still be a contending team. There's no doubt about that. I mean, their season isn't over, especially now that you only have to finish second. Kind of waters it down a little bit, but them's the rules, and so be it. I don't particularly like it, how you can just play for second place and get in. It does.
There's a lot of things we don't like about college football right now, but we just roll with it because the Saturdays are fun.
Used to be conference championship meant a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't.
And if they both go in at 8-1 in the conference title game, that feels good. But if one team goes in 9-0 and the other team's going in 6-3, what are we doing here? The conference champ's been decided. This is ridiculous. So I always feel like the conference title games are situation by situation. And now it's even weirder because you got these huge leagues and you're just barely playing half the league here. 16, 18, 20-team leagues and you're playing 8 or 9 games.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
I know. It's like I said, there's a bunch of stuff we don't like, but we like Saturdays when crazy plays are happening in games and you're channel surfing between games, and it's awesome.
Right. Yeah, if you're at home, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And they're fun environments. It's still exciting for me to go to these stadiums. To be at that stadium Saturday afternoon was still a lot of fun.
Well, the energy was great. The place was packed. Big plays were made. What more could you want?
Yeah. And storylines develop. We wouldn't expected that 4 weeks into the season. Well, as Isaac, should you start him against the Cats? I think they should start him if Rising is not 100%. And that's the great thing now. You can just say, hey, if you're not 100%, we're going to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And not be really nervous. There's no one's nervous now. Oh, wow, man, we got to go with the freshman. It's not about the freshman. He's not a freshman. Who cares if he's a freshman? What would you do?
No, we just saw him in back-to-back road games.
You don't get 10 points because you're a freshman. Nothing is on a curve here. But the point being now, all Ute fans everywhere on this planet thinking, okay, it's Wilson. Yeah. If you got to go with him, there's no sense of uneasiness. Wilson over the Wildcats. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Lawrence Welk, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Lawrence would be 140 if he were still alive.
Is that? I had no idea.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. My mother watched that show
I
every
wouldn't have
week.
had any idea.
Yeah, well, it stuck with you somehow because you got it.
Well, it's all about the W's.
Yeah. We
and
got
he's
that.
going to get the W. No, I have no idea. He said wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
A million times.
Oh, I no clue.
That's soundtrack of my childhood right there.
Not mine.
6-year-old me and Mom's got that show on.
Mine was Frank, and that's it. And we didn't go to Lawrence. We had Frank. If we're going to play music, it's going to be Frank.
There you go.
And I'm unapologetic.
Come fly with me. Yeah, sing it.
He can get this opportunity to get you another win. And Rising, you're over here. Get yourself healthy. And the thing about it here is if he comes out, Wilson, and plays well, and they win again, well, then you got a bye week.
Yep.
Right? And then you should be able to beat the Devils no matter who as that quarterback. You're just better than them, right? But then you start to wonder, do we really make a change? We're now 5-0, 2-0.
Disrupt a winning streak?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I hope they don't do it just because of what happened in 2021. No,
they need to do it based on, well, I mean, they always tell us they're charting every play, and we know they film every play. They used to have people in towers. Now I think they have drones, but whatever.
And nothing should be done differently. That is your philosophy. I don't think, and this is nothing against Rising, he's done nothing to deserve a deviation from the standards of your program that you've set up. And most programs have this. No. If Wilson was out there floundering, that would be another story. I don't anticipate him floundering. Maybe he does flounder against Arizona. I don't anticipate it. But if he plays well enough to lead your team to winning, then at that point, Rising, it's not like he needs to beat him out, but he needs to have a solid week of practice.
Well, can he take the glove off, and can he throw post patterns and deep outs and all that? I mean, you got to throw the ball 40, 50 yards on a dime with some zip on it.
A dime?
On a dime. And can he do that? And the thing is, presumably, Rising will turn the ball over less than Wilson, who had a couple of picks, and as you pointed out, could have had a third one. And 3 picks will often get you beat. The defense was just fantastic. I mean, just awesome until the final 5 minutes when they thought they had the game win and they let down. They gave up those 2 scores. But for 55 minutes, they were fantastic. It was a great performance. So Wilson does have to cut down the turnovers. And if Cam can do that, then that gives him an advantage. But can Cam do that if he's got to wear a glove and he's struggling to grip the ball? And how long is this going to linger? I'm already surprised it's been this long. They do have that bye out there. Actually, both teams are going to have the bye, right? They're both going to play this week and then get the first week in October
Cougars?
off. Yeah. BYU and Utah with
Utah always
weekends.
takes it off for General Conference.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, Karene Reid, Utah linebacker, joining us coming up next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Utes, and the Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Kyle Whittingham and the Utes welcome in the Wildcats of Arizona for a huge Big 12 showdown. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Ute football and your chance to win tickets to the game. Then catch the Ute pregame show this Saturday at 7, with a postgame show immediately following the game. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We're brought to you in part by Tim Dahle Mazda Southtown. Find your new Mazda at the south end of the valley at Tim Dahle Mazda Southtown. That's Tim Dahle Mazda Southtown in Sandy. Karene Reid going to join us momentarily. Been talking college football all morning long. If you missed it, earlier in the show, we had on Darius Lassiter, BYU wide receiver, talking about the big win in Provo. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts. It's already up online and available for you, as is the entire show. Yak's posting it hour by hour as it happens, so when you're ready. Right now, it's time to talk to our favorite Ute linebacker.
It's time to take you inside the huddle. Straight from the source. This is the Players Club with DJ and PK, featuring Ute linebacker Karene Reid on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Karene, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. Don't tell Lander Barton I just called you my favorite Ute linebacker. I don't know mad at me. He's bigger than me.
I'll make sure he knows.
Yeah, great. Now I'm in trouble. All right, Karene, I guess the first question for you out of the gate is, how you feeling? Inquiring minds want to know. Ute fans everywhere. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Getting better every day and making a lot of progress. So I'm doing well.
You got a bye week coming up next week. Has that factored into any of your plans as far as when you get back out on the field?
Obviously, I'm eager to get back as soon as possible. Bye weeks are only going to help as far as injuries. So we'll see. I'm really eager to get back, and obviously, I'm never going to hurt my team if I'm playing and I'm playing slow. So I'll never do that. But plan is always to get back as soon as possible.
What is your stress level, anxiety level, adrenaline level when you can't be with your guys and they are playing lights-out football in the first quarter and in the second quarter and in the third quarter, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Oh, I'm just so happy for them. It's crazy when you're not playing. Connor O'Toole and I were talking to each other like, why are we way more nervous not playing before the game than if we were to play? It's just, especially when we're on the road and they're in a hostile environment, you wish you could be there for them. But like you said, the boys played lights out, and I couldn't be happier.
So what'd you do? You guys got together and watched the game? Because you didn't go, did you?
No, I didn't go, and we weren't together as well. We were just texting.
Oh.
We were just with family, so, yeah.
We know watching the game that it was one 3-and-out after another, only interrupted by the occasional forced turnover. It was an incredible performance, and especially, as I saw some national writers point out, and Gundy has a reputation as an offensive genius. He's had a lot of teams that put up a lot of points. Now, this team's struggling to run the ball right now, so they're not the best, but they were much worse against the Utes. What did the Utes have? Why were they so good?
I really believe they're playing with so much confidence, and it really starts with Junior Tafuna up front. We always say the D-line brings the weather, and every single week they've been so consistent, and I've just been so pleased. I think it was just clean football. No one was leaving gaps. Nobody was out of position. It just seemed like everybody owned their role every single play from what I saw.
And I also think, and Tafuna's been a mainstay there in the middle, and Tanavasa's there now also.
Yeah.
But I think Fillinger on the edge being healthy has really brought back some level of aggressiveness in terms of quarterback sacks that maybe you didn't have as much. You had it, but you didn't have it as much with him being injured last year.
Yeah. He looks like a completely different person. He's come back with fire, and he looks like his old self, but times two, if you ask, in my opinion.
The pressure on the quarterback, is this sustainable? Or is there something offenses are going to do to adapt to this? Because just really impressive how they're getting after QBs.
Yeah, I mean, they only got a couple options. They can leave the running back in and tight end to max protect, but then you only have a couple routes going down the field, and that's not always a great option as well. But teams are going to have to adjust because this D-line is not slowing down.
What do you think is the strongest aspect right now of this defense?
Oh man, I just can't give enough credit to the D-line. That's where I would say right now.
Every question we ask you is coming back to this, but that's where the bread is buttered, and that's why coaches want to win in the trenches, right? It's on full display right now.
Exactly, it's on full display right now.
The thing that has just amazed me over the years is it seems like it's every year, though. It's not just this year. It's just whoever is on the team that particular year, how do they keep doing it to where that defensive line, it's almost, if not always, close to always being good, and it's the calling card for Utah's defense, and we've got it again, maybe even better than we've had in recent years.
Yeah, I think that's a twofold answer. One is great recruiting, but two is just, I don't know how to explain it. There's just a mentality. There's a mentality in that D-line room where when you get there, you completely buy in, like, hey, this is how it's been for years and nothing's going to change. We're going to keep being the aggressor, keep being nasty, and it's never changed. It's amazing.
I think everyone in the media is tired of the phrase iron sharpens iron, but you might as well use it because that's part of what's happened in the D-line, right? If you don't raise, no matter how good you are when you come in, if you don't raise your level of play, you can't get on the field.
Exactly. There's just too much talent, too much great technique by the players that you have to rise if you want to get on that field. The defense is just too good.
How do they get to improve, though? Because you look at last year, Jonah Ellis. It looked like, a couple years back, I wouldn't have necessarily predicted that he would be as good and that he would be, a second-day NFL draft pick. But sure enough, he got to that level. So, and Junior, too. Didn't know much about him when he got in the program, but the last couple years, he's been a mainstay. Tanavasa, I think, was a freshman last year, and he comes in. So it seems like that only is it just the recruiting. It's the ability to develop guys so when it's your time to get significant playing time, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's a great point. And they always say that Utah is one of the best at developing players, right? And it doesn't start in the season. It's winter conditioning, summer conditioning. So part of the credit goes to the strength staff. And the other part of the credit goes to the position coaches that have just found a formula and found success. And I think, too, that's what happens when you have a coaching staff that has stayed for so long, is they know what works and what doesn't work, and they're able to repeat it and find success over and over again.
Couple of interceptions, 5 passes deflected, some at the line of scrimmage, some further downfield. It seemed, I don't know if you felt the same thing watching the game, but it felt like there was an extra defensive back running around. It didn't feel like there was any space for them to throw the ball.
Yeah. I would like to say that quarterback was pretty frazzled. Scooby, Elijah Davis had a great interception, and then Alakai Gilman as well. But when that D-line getting after the quarterback, making him throw on the run, it just makes the DB's jobs even easier. But they look great. The DBs look great out there.
All right, so we've spent these last several minutes just lathering you up with a bunch of gravy from the defensive perspective. What the heck happened, though, at the end of the game? Because that was a crazy finish that I didn't anticipate.
Yeah, that's I think it's hard for me to say not physically being there. Haven't really talked to the boys about the mental breakdowns, if it were that, or maybe the fatigue. So I think I would have a better answer had I been there. But that was a scary ending that I'm sure left a little bit of sour taste with that victory.
Sometimes I run into coaches and I swear, well, they must be cousins, right? They must have the same grandparents or great-grandparents because they say the same stuff. RSL's soccer coach, Pablo Mastroeni, and you wouldn't think that Kyle Whittingham is going to bond with a soccer guy, right? But they had 2 games that were totally different. What's the difference? And he says, I need 11 dogs out there. When there's 11 dogs, you're going to lose the ball in a soccer game. 11 guys go and get it back right then. 11 guys all together. And he's like almost frothing at the mouth when he's talking. I thought the Utes had 11 dogs on defense for 55 minutes. But for the last 5 minutes, it felt like when Keithy crossed the goal line, people thought the game was over. And it was. The Utes won the game, but they didn't win 22-3 because they thought the game was over. Fair?
Yeah, I mean, that's so tough. And especially you got to understand you're not in your own stadium, so you can't ever get comfortable. Whether we shut Oklahoma State down or not, we knew from the stat sheet, from the film, that they're a great offense. And so I don't know that it was us taking our foot off the gas pedal, but something definitely was up.
There was a line of thought being, you got Cam Rising, he's the ultimate security blanket, right? I mean, he's been around the block a long time. You're going to never have a player or a quarterback with this much experience. But there was a sense of apprehension with the freshman Wilson if he had to get in. Sure enough, he has to get in Baylor. And we know it was just basically maintain the lead and let's just get out of here with a win. And then they fall behind a little bit at Utah State. And, like, you can almost feel the angst among Ute fans because the expectations are so high. But then he settles down and you win the game. And I thought it resurrected itself a little bit against Oklahoma State. But you win the game. Now, in my mind, if he needs to play as soon as Saturday night, from a team perspective, and maybe I'm off base, maybe the team didn't have it, but that's sort of what I sense. Certainly if a fan base who can get emotional and will have wild swings of emotion depending on what's going on in the game. But the point I'm making now is if Wilson starts against Arizona, I don't think there's that sense of nervousness anymore. It's like, okay, the other guy his hand isn't letting him play. He still needs another week or two to get better. But with Wilson, the confidence is there now. Do you feel that same way?
I feel that exact same way. Like you said, he's earned our trust over time, and he doesn't play perfect ball, but I think he doesn't get rattled very easily. He makes a mistake, but he comes back and he stays aggressive. And the level of play with the players around him really stepped up as well. The O-line had great success in the run game. Dorian Senior had a great game. But Isaac we have confidence in him, and he has permission to be confident in himself because he's really been leading the offense. So I've been extremely proud of him.
How pumped up does it make defensive players when a quarterback makes an athletic play, when he takes off on a 50-yard run and looks like a football player instead of looking like a quarterback? Nothing against quarterbacks, but we all know how the rest of the team feels about quarterbacks.
No, it's great, especially when it's fourth down and he crosses that first down line and he's running, and at some point you're thinking in the back of your mind, okay, please just slide, right? That happens when I see Cam run, when Bryson used to run, and same with Isaac, man. But when he gets that first down, I think they converted 4 out of 5 fourth downs. You got to be excited about that.
You see these guys when the lights aren't on, no cameras are there. You see them doing their early morning stuff, the workouts, and you know who's working. And where I'm going with this is a kid like Mekhi Bernard in his 6th year and has been sort of a utility guy. Heck, he started at cornerback in one game. We remember that. But I always felt in my conversations with him, he felt he could do more. And he had a breakout game. He's had a breakout season, obviously, but the best game he's ever played at a time when they needed it. Just from someone who is a teammate, and you see somebody persevere, not give up. Plenty of times, especially with the transfer portal, he could have gone grass is greener type thing. But no, he stuck it out. He has stuck out, and now he's having success. And he said it in the post game. I went to the game, so I'm sitting there in the first row, and he said, basically, this has been a 5-6 year deal for me to gain the trust of the coaches and the guys on the team, and I've got it now. That's got to be sweet when you see a teammate go through all that he's gone through, injury last year, all that stuff, and now he's ready to go and display just how good he is.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly, and I love that you pointed out it being a 6th year. I know a lot of times people think that it's an advantage, but at the same time, sometimes you can get caught up thinking, man, I've been here a long time. Do I still want to do this? You start feeling a little burnt out. But Mekhi, man, he's just been hungry since the day that I've met him and kept chopping wood and look at how far he's come. So I've seen him work summer conditioning, winter conditioning, year after year.
Right.
And I'm just glad that he's finally breaking through the ice, if you want to say that. Just doing
he's
well.
basically seeing the fruits of his labor now.
Exactly.
It's early in the week to be doing the video work on the opponent yet. That usually comes later. But Arizona has been on TV. They've played primetime. You've played primetime. You haven't played at the same time. So have you watched some of these early Arizona games? Do you have an opinion on them? Something you've seen just watching on TV?
I actually have. I think being out a little bit too, I've had more time to watch football. But same star players, right, as Arizona's had this season as last season. So I would say the one word that stands out to me is just talent. They got some talented players on both sides. I watched their Kansas State game and they struggled there, but whenever you have players with that caliber of talent, you got to be ready. So they look good in my opinion.
When does preparation and practice for the next game really begin? Is it Monday or Tuesday?
It's Monday. So we'll go in and we'll watch the previous game Monday, and then right when we finish that game, we start watching opponent film that night. So it's pretty quick turnaround.
So when do you get out on the practice field? How much practice time do you spend out there on Monday?
It's brief and it's without pads, but we get out there for about an hour or so to walk through some of our game plans for the next opponent.
So when you put on the pads and all, that doesn't really start until Tuesday.
Exactly. Yep, that's correct.
And then is the majority of the work done on Tuesday and Wednesday, with Friday looks a little more like Monday?
Yep. So each day we kind of take off that piece of padding, take off the knee pads and all that Wednesday, full pads Tuesday, and then it's just basically helmets and soft pads on Thursday and so on.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll be able to get out there, Karene. Good job not letting us know what you're going to do, but we'll be looking for you in warm-ups and try to figure things out on Saturday, all right?
Thank you, guys.
Karene Reid, Utah linebacker, join us right here on The Zone. Your feedback when we come back. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
Catch First and 12 Sundays from 10 to noon here on The Zone. It's brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Get the freshest fruits and vegetables from local farms and your favorite local brands. Macy's. Happy shopping. Question of the morning. What should Utah do at quarterback now? You know what you love? You love people with opinions who just bring it. Fighting Utes at LA Utes. If Cam is healthy, he plays. It's as simple as that. Boom. Boom.
I don't think it's as simple as that, but I agree with that in theory. He has to. What the heck was that?
Mm-hmm. Your phone just barked at you.
I don't know what that was.
There's no video playing or anything.
No.
Oh, it's probably an ad. I see this website. Yeah, they're playing ads all the time.
He has to practice well. Not simply is he healthy. He has to be healthy, so I agree with that.
So that he can practice well.
And I have no doubt if he is healthy, he will practice well, but he still has to practice well. Mm-hmm. He can't go out there, and that's what I asked Reid about, because I know Mondays are a light day, and you really put on the pads, get going on Tuesday. Right. So Tuesday at the start of practice.
If Cam looks sharp in practice Tuesday.
He's got to tell them, I'm ready to go.
Uh-huh.
Not, well, we're going to ham and egg it here. He's ready to go. And if he's ready to go and he looks good enough, then yes. But if not, if there's any doubt, if not, you don't wait till Thursday. You just say, we got a game we got to win this week. Arizona, I think the Utes would be favored by close to 2 touchdowns, 12 points somewhere in there. I haven't looked at the line, but they should be in that way. But they're capable of coming in here and beating you. They've got firepower.
It opened at 9 and it went to 11 pretty quickly, and I haven't checked it to see where it is now. But
I had it in my mind between 10 and 12. That's why I said 2 touchdowns.
And that's what most people do. And it's 12 and a half now and climbing. They're trying to find someone who'll bet on Arizona. We'll give you more points. Everybody wants the Utes.
Right.
So it's up to 12 and a half.
But they've got a receiver and a quarterback who can smoke you. I mean, they did it last year. They embarrassed Utah last year.
And we saw it out of them this year against New Mexico. They were clicking. Now the next 2 games, they didn't. And I don't know that they have enough. You know, when you're one-dimensional, they may have had more of a team around them. They did lose a lot of transfers to Washington. I'm not there. I don't know what happened. And I know you got sources with the Sun Devils.
I am there.
You got sources with the Devils, so you can ask around and see if this is true. But it smacks of they had money. They lost a coach. They knew they needed the quarterback. They know to keep the quarterback, they need the star receiver. But Washington's got more money, and they pretty much cleaned up on the rest of the roster with who they wanted.
Well, they cleaned up on the recruiting class, and I think they got about 10 players.
Mm-hmm.
But in speaking with some ASU people, thought that the Cats would be a contender. And they only lost 1 game in conference, so they still can be. But I think to date, given the fact they were trailing against New Mexico, who's 0-4.
They gave up a lot of points in that game.
Yeah.
Was it 39, I think?
Somewhere in that range. And they also only scored 22, I think, against NAU, something like that. So to me, Arizona's the most disappointing team to date. Plenty of time to change it, but to date, the most disappointing team in the conference.
Kansas? Number 2. Number 2. Okay.
Sure. But Arizona just hasn't looked like we thought they would look. With that in mind, Rising has got to practice. He can't just show up Thursday. Oh, I'm good. No. You need to be ready to go. Show us what you got, and then the job is yours. If not, we're over here going with Wilson. Wilson can beat Arizona. There's no doubt in my mind.
I 100% believe that, and I think that Kyle believes that, and I think it goes back to what Kyle believes the most, which he's told us a million times. Defense, run the ball. I think they can run the ball in Arizona. I think you and I think they can run the ball in Arizona, so it's going to come down to don't turn it over. And if Cam isn't healthy, you run the risk of him floating passes, of him not being able to really throw it the way he needs to. And the ball floats or it sails or whatever, and he turns it over. Cam Rising at his best. Kyle loves him for a lot of reasons, but the number one reason is Cam had 12 picks in the 2 Rose Bowl seasons. Total. 5 one year, 7 the other. Wilson's already had 5. He's a freshman. I'm not surprised. He does a lot of things well. If you didn't hear PK earlier in the show telling the story about how the search for a bathroom led to a look into Wilson's composure, it's a bizarro story, but in the end, it actually makes sense. He's got it. He'll have it. He looks like he can be the guy. But the fact is, he's turned it over 5 times in a month, and Cam turns it over 5 or 7 times in a season. If Cam can throw the ball 100%. So if he can throw 100%, he'll be the starter.
Yeah.
But if he's floating it, he runs the risk of getting picked too. In which case, let him get healthy. Don't go out there and bang up the hand again. And let Wilson beat Arizona and keep coaching Isaac up on don't put the ball at risk.
Yeah, you've got a home game against Arizona, then you got a bye.
Right.
Then you got a game that against a team that was picked 16th. You should be able to be okay there.
We're taking one at a time here, but if we don't, the month of October looks like the Utes ought to roll. Now, there's tests in November. Possibly there's multiple tests in November.
I think there will be.
But October.
I think there's 4 tests.
October is set up.
I called it Rocktober.
October, Ute fans, man, bring the party hats. October ought to be great.
What do you got? You love to read schedules. Read them. Read them and weep. Or read them and rejoice.
Read them and rejoice.
Because I agree with you.
In October, the Utes open with a bye.
They won't lose that one.
At Arizona State.
That's a
home
dub.
to TCU at Houston.
Yeah. Cake.
Now, November.
November, every game is tough in November.
Home to BYU, at Colorado, home to Iowa State, at UCF.
Yeah. I think every game.
I could rank them. UCF 1, BYU 2, Iowa State 3, Colorado 4.
I think I might put Iowa State much higher. I think I might go Iowa State 1.
Okay. I'm just going off the emotion of the BYU game, the rivalry game, and their record may be sparkling at that point too, and their defense is going to be real. But maybe you're right. Maybe flip Iowa State and BYU.
And
we'll see.
With Colorado, with that passing attack, that's dangerous.
It gives them a puncher's chance. But,
as long as he's healthy.
Given how good the other teams are, I just think they're the 4th best team in that group.
But
that
you're
doesn't
playing
mean they're
them
bad.
for one game on a one-game basis.
And it doesn't mean they're bad. Right.
Yeah.
They're just not as good as the other 3. November's got multiple tests.
And you're over there in Colorado. Dion, for whatever, the economic impact he's had on the area is off the charts.
And so, assuming they haven't gone on a big losing streak, and the Big 12 this year doesn't look as good as the Pac-12 last year.
It's still going to be sold out.
Oh, yeah, it should be.
I've been in that stadium.
Should be rocking.
The saddest senior day ever.
Okay, there'll be more people than that, because that looked like about 4,500 people, and half to 2/3 were Ute fans.
It was sad. I
it
felt
was
bad
super
for
empty.
the seniors.
There'd been a blizzard. There was snow stacked everywhere on the side of the field.
It was snowing that day.
Yeah, it was hopeless for Colorado.
Yeah, and
it was game 12.
They just blew them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a backup quarterback, right?
What's his face? The kid who went up to Utah State?
Barnes. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Shelley.
Yeah.
Right. All right, DJ and PK, we're out of time. Jake and Ben are next. We'll see you tomorrow.